has been bringing you the best in local sports talk. Available on 560 AM and 98.5 FM with 12 hours of local talk daily, we continue to be Memphis's local sports leader. Get your day started with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy from 7 to 10. From 10 to 11, it's the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, with Wolo and Friends. John Harden brings you Sports 56 Happy Hour to get you through lunch from 11 to 1. And then from 1 to 3, it's Peter Edmiston and Anthony Sane with Grind Time. Sports Time on Sports 56 with Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy drives you home every afternoon from 3 to 6. And then John Rennie wraps up the day with Southern Sports Report from 6 to 7 before we turn things over to Fox Sports Radio to get you through the evening. We also bring you Ole Miss sports, NFL football, and the NCAA basketball tournament. Don't miss anything. Keep your radio locked in right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick and proud aunt. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing. But not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. 1 in 6. That little girl sitting alone at the playground, she can't play like the other kids. She doesn't have the energy because she's hungry. School lunch will be her only meal today. It breaks my heart that this is the reality in our country, but it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. This food is then provided to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about using your imagination, learning, and having fun. These children shouldn't have to miss out on simply being a kid because they're hungry. To find out how you can help end childhood hunger in your community, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11, here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
And Barnes hits one high. Hits it deep. Morant. Oh! A jawbreaker!
It's time to get up and get your day started. It's Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Diggs! Sideline! Touchdown! Unbelievable!
Here are your hosts, Greg and Eli.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome in to Sports 56 Mornings on this Tuesday, June 7th, 2022. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, and Zach Boyd. We're all together once again in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Had a great time yesterday over at the AutoZone Liberty Bowl Golf Classic, the 27th annual. I've played in most of them. And we dodged the rain, although it did get a little nasty there for a while, but had a very enjoyable time. And we talked about Penny Hardaway and Mike Miller, who were there yesterday, as some of the dignitaries that played, and had a chance to talk with Penny and Mike Miller later on in the morning after we wrapped up our show, and some interesting things that they both had to say. We got a lot of things going on in the world of sports, a lot to get to on the show today. It's Tuesday. That means Connor O'Gara. He will join us at 7:25, the senior national columnist from Saturday Down South. We'll talk SEC football and some other things with Connor. At 8:25, we'll turn our attention to the Grizzlies. 2 weeks from Thursday is the NBA draft. What's brewing with the Grizzlies? Are there any trades that are going to happen? Parker Fleming, the site manager of SBN Grizzlies, Grizzly Bear Blues Network, he will join us at 8:25. At 8:05, it's Humdinger's Trivia. We do it each and every Tuesday. Also today, we'll give you the topic for tomorrow's 5 favorite things. A lot of things happening. As I mentioned, Phil Mickelson will play after all this weekend in the first event on the LIV Tour. He made a very poignant statement yesterday that we will discuss on the program today. We had a player hit for the cycle last night in Major League Baseball. C.J. McCollum, who's an NBA player, but also an analyst, part of the media now, had some interesting things to say about the Celtics and the Warriors, as that series will continue with Game 3 tomorrow night from Boston. We have one of the participants in the Stanley Cup Finals. Ole Miss and Arkansas will join Texas A&M, Auburn, Tennessee, as representatives from the SEC in the Super Regionals. We'll go over that. And the College Football Hall of Fame ballot will be out for 2023, and it will include a very familiar name. That's all coming up on the program today. If you want to be a part of the show, hit us up on the AutoZone listener lines by calling in or texting in at 901-360-8255. You can also message us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, or on the website at sports56whbq.com. Eli, how are you? I know it was a long day yesterday for us, but a fun day nonetheless.
Yeah, always a great time out at TPC Southwind for the AutoZone Liberty Bowl golf tournament. Enjoyed that, had a good time, and certainly appreciate Steve and Harold and the gang out there for having us out. So, yeah, it was a good time as always.
As I mentioned, it was great to run into Mike and Penny. And we didn't get a chance to have them on the show because they were golfing while we were on from 7 to 10, but I had a chance to talk to them later. And, of course, Mike now with the sports agency representing the likes of Paolo Banchero. I mean, pretty awesome for him, basically in its infancy, to start off and get some of the names that he's been able to attract, which says an awful lot about Mike and how well he's loved. And, of course, Penny Hardaway, we talked about this on the show yesterday because he spoke early to a couple of members of the media, and then later he spoke again. So he was very giving of his time yesterday. And we talked about it on the show that there's a couple of things that are brewing. One, looks like he let the cat out of the bag that Rasheed Wallace will join Darvin Ham's coaching staff with the Los Angeles Lakers. So he's got to fill a couple of voids there on the coaching staff. Looks like Larry Brown will be back, but at least at this point. We don't know for sure, and Penny doesn't know for sure, but he feels pretty good that he'll be back. He also talked about scheduling. And one game I forgot to bring up yesterday, and I was reminded of this, is Texas A&M comes to FedEx Forum. We were talking about some of those home games. He's trying to get home and homes with Arkansas and Louisville. You would think he would stagger one home, one away. Ole Miss is coming to town this year. They'll be at FedEx Forum, but Texas A&M is one I forgot yesterday. So he talked about that, trying to also set up a neutral game with Auburn in Atlanta. So a SEC-heavy schedule as far as the non-conference portion of his schedule. He talked about the roster, which is first and foremost, said that he has 5 scholarships. Doesn't mean I'll use all 5. He's looking for some shooters. He's looking for maybe a hybrid big, but said that he should probably hear some news, and we should hear some news sometime this week, at least on one of the guys that they're trying to bring in. I would assume it's the young man from North Carolina who's in the transfer portal, who's a good three-point shooter.
Yeah, there was a couple of guys who could have been possible targets that have committed now. Keon Brooks from Kentucky committing to Washington, Isaiah Mosley from Missouri State committing to Missouri. So there's a couple of other guys, if you look at the transfer portal rankings that are out there, were some of the higher ranked guys in the portal that now have their new homes chosen. Now, if you look at the rankings, I know David Cobb and his rankings on CBSSports.com, his 2 highest ranked uncommitted guys are Courtney Ramey from Texas and Pete Nance from Northwestern. Both very good shooters. Ramey shot over 40% from 3. I think 2 years ago. I'm not sure what if he was last year. And then Nance, who's a stretch big, who shot, I think, nearly 45% from 3-point range last year. So
is Memphis in on them?
I don't know for sure. I think I know in Jason Munn's in his article, I think, mentioned Nance as a possibility. I don't know how much they are in on these guys or whatever. Certainly not my world of following that, but those are just the some of the higher ranked guys out there in the portal that are still in the portal right now.
Where does Cobb rank the young man from Carolina? Is it Walton?
Let's see here.
What's his name? It escapes me.
He
2 years ago, he started, I believe, and he shot the 3 ball really well. Last year, he didn't get as many opportunities, and that's because North Carolina was loaded. So that's understandable. Doesn't take away from the quality of a player he is. And he is a good shooter. I should have this name in front of me. Sorry that I don't.
Yeah, it's Walden or
Thought it was Walton, but I might be wrong about that.
Well, let's see if I can find the portal
And
ranking.
You talking about Kerwin
No.
Walton?
Oh, is that his first name, Kerwin?
Kerwin Walton?
Yeah, Walton. Yeah.
Yeah.
You confused me by saying you're talking about Kerwin? No, I'm talking about Walton. I didn't know Kerwin from James, his first name, but yeah, Walton. I had that right. And that's a 3-point shooter. Again, didn't play as much this past season, but 2 years ago, lit it up pretty well for Carolina. You looking for Cobb's rankings?
Yeah, I'm just scrolling through to try and find him.
Look, any player that played for Carolina, I think, is probably going to be a good pickup, and especially a guy who can shoot the rock. So that's one of the guys I know they're definitely looking at. And yeah, Jason put a story together in the commercial appeal looking at possible recruiting targets.
He does his as a top 25, and he's not in his top.
He's not
25.
even in the top 25. Wow, that's interesting. 75 degrees currently, cloudy skies. We're going to see a little bit of sun, a little bit of clouds, and then this afternoon, like it was the case yesterday, a chance for some thunder boomers, and that will go into the early evening. Better chance later in the afternoon, early evening. Like I said, 75 right now at 7:09. It's going to get up to about 85 degrees as you get your Tuesday morning going. All right, I wanted to bring up a couple of different things here in our first segment, and then Connor O'Gara will join us at 7:25. Yesterday it was announced that the class of 2023 College Hall of Fame ballots are out. And the announcement will take place in early 2023 of who will make the class of 2023. There are 80 players and 9 coaches from FBS and 96 players and 33 coaches from the divisional ranks, highlighted by the likes of Tim Tebow. I think he has a pretty good chance to make it. Alex Smith, Ryan Leaf, just to name a few. There's holdovers from last year. How are these guys not in the Hall of Fame? Maybe because of the controversy with Reggie Bush, but Bush isn't in yet. Tim Couch, Warrick Dunn, Dwight Freeney, Ray Lewis? Really? So anyway, they're holdovers from other years. Players are eligible if they are 10 full seasons removed from their final year of college football and have received first-team All-America honors by an organization recognized by the NCAA. That brings up a name very familiar to us here on Sports 56 Mornings, on Sports 56 Period. To everybody in Memphis, the great DeAngelo Williams is on the ballot. In fact, as I read the story from ESPN, they talk about notables on the ballot for the first time, including Kajana Carter, LaMichael James, Luke Kuechly, Dewey Selman, and Memphis running back DeAngelo Williams. I don't know if DeAngelo Williams will make it in his first try, but I think when all is said and done, DeAngelo Williams not only will be in the College Football Hall of Fame, but deserves to be in the College Football Hall of Fame.
Certainly had an unbelievable college career. What he did here was amazing, and that would be awesome if he's able to get in. There's always a lot of names on that list that you think like, wow, they seem like no-brainer. Like everybody that's always on that list always seems like a no-brainer, but
Exactly.
it's the fact that you had to be All-American, all that to be on the list to begin with. So they are obviously great college football players. So, but that'd be great if DeAngelo could get into the College Football Hall of Fame.
Yeah, his numbers were just eye-popping. Obviously, playing in Conference USA, hurts him a little bit, but still, I think no matter who DeAngelo Williams played for and what conference he played for, he would have put up huge numbers. He was that type of running back. And he went on to have a really, really good NFL career. That does not matter as far as this is concerned. It's only what these players did in college football. But it's still, it boggles my mind. Holdovers. Reggie Bush, Tim Couch. Remember how great Tim Couch was at Kentucky? Warrick Dunn, Dwight Freeney, and Ray Lewis? Okay. There's a lot. It just tells you there's a lot of college football players out there and a lot of college football players that put together illustrious careers. But I think eventually DeAngelo Williams will get into the Hall of Fame. It would be unbelievable if he got in on the first ballot. So congratulations to him. From the world of Major League Baseball, last night late on the West Coast, while most of you were sleeping, including me, Eduardo Escobar hit for the cycle for the Mets. He had a 2-run triple with 2 outs in the 9th inning to complete the cycle. Knocked in 6 runs. The Mets beat the Padres 11-5. That's the 11th player 11th different player in Mets history to hit for the cycle. First ever at Petco Park. First ever cycle. So congratulations to Eduardo Escobar. I got to be honest with you, I'm not real familiar with the guy, but he certainly made a name for himself last night with a cycle. The cycles, they're pretty rare, and it's pretty cool when those things happen. College baseball. Congratulations to Ole Miss and Arkansas area schools that joined Tennessee. Texas A&M and Auburn also in. 5 SEC schools make it to the Super Regionals. So of the remaining 16 teams, 5 from the SEC, which is one short of what they had last year when they had 6 that made it to the Super Regionals. Ole Miss will travel to Hattiesburg to take on the Golden Eagles of Southern Miss. They edged LSU 8-7, knocking out that SEC team. Ole Miss, Southern Miss, the Magnolia State battle in the Super Regional. And how fitting that Ole Miss, after getting knocked out last year in the Super Regionals by Arizona, they knock off Arizona yesterday in Coral Gables, Florida. They did not even need a second game. They routed the Wildcats 22-6. Tim Elko, what a story. 3 home runs, first ever Rebel to hit 3 home runs in a postseason game. He scored 6 runs, and it's the most runs scored in Ole Miss postseason history. They have hit their stride at the right time, but it will be a great battle with Southern Miss. Should be huge crowds in Hattiesburg this weekend.
Yeah, I would imagine the folks down there pretty charged up to welcome in one of the SEC schools in the state for a super regional. That's that is going to be some good stuff and some great atmospheres down there. They played a couple of games this year. They split the 2 games that they played in the regular season. Tim Elko, for the regional, hit 778.
Is that all?
3 home runs, 3 doubles, 7 RBIs. Peyton Chatinier, 6 RBIs yesterday, 10 RBIs in the regional. Just incredible. So they become the 9th team to score 20 or more runs in a regional game. It's crazy, man. Just the pitching struggling in these regionals. 9 different teams put a 20 spot in regional play.
It's just crazy, the offense that we're seeing. But then again, we saw a couple of pitching duels in the Coral Gables regional where Ole Miss was.
Yeah, they won. Miami lost.
What was that, 2-1?
Ole Miss beat them
3-2?
2-1, and then they lost to Arizona 4-3. There wasn't a whole lot of runs scored in that regional until Ole Miss yesterday, and a just crazy day of delays and everything else. They would pull the tarp off and then put the tarp back on. It was a heck of a day to that whole regional, battling the weather the way they had to from the start through the finish for Ole Miss to go down there, not lose a game, dominate that regional, and advance on to the super regionals. Certainly kudos to Mike Bianco and that team. But yeah, that's them versus Southern Miss. Man, that will be some kind of atmosphere down in Hattiesburg.
What a roller coaster season it has been for Ole Miss, from a great start, number 1 ranking. Then they kind of lost their way. Looked like they might not even make the SEC tournament. Seriously, not even the SEC tournament, as a couple of teams don't make it, don't qualify. They got their act together. They have been pressing down on the accelerators ever since. They've gotten healthier. They played very, very well in the SEC tournament, but now making it barely by the skin of their teeth as the last at-large. They get in. All you need is a chip and a chair, and here they are now in the Super Regional. By the way, in the Super Regionals, 5 SEC, 4 ACC, 2 Pac-12, 2 Big 12, 1 American, 1 Conference USA, 1 Big East. That Big East team being Connecticut, the former American Conference member who knocked off my Terps yesterday in College Park. Arkansas defeating Oklahoma State in that wild Stillwater Regional. They win 7-3. So the Razorbacks advance. Also, as I mentioned, Auburn's in. They beat UCLA 11-4. They'll face Oregon State. Vandy, unfortunately, eliminated by Oregon State in Corvallis 7-6. So the Supers, as I said, are set. Here's your 16. Tennessee, Notre Dame. Stanford, Connecticut, Oregon State, Auburn, Virginia Tech, Oklahoma, Texas A&M and Louisville, Ole Miss and Southern Miss, Arkansas, North Carolina, East Carolina, and Texas. There you go. There's your 16.
Some staples of college baseball in that grouping.
We switched to the National Football League. Big day for Aaron Donald. There was all that talk about, Aaron may retire and this and that. That was never going to happen. Aaron Donald gets an adjusted contract with the Rams that will make him the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL, and he deserves it. Rework deal will give him a $40 million raise over the last 3 years of his existing deal. The total value, $95 million over 3 years.
Not bad work if you can get it, but he certainly
it's a game changer.
He is he's the most dominant defensive player in the game right now. I mean, what he faces in double teams and everything else, but it doesn't seem to matter. He still has sacks. He does whatever, makes a massive impact. So if you're looking at a non-quarterback anywhere that deserves that type of money, certainly Aaron Donald would be that guy. You can't have much more of an impact than what he does for the Rams defensively. So gets his big payday. Good for him.
I don't know if he's going to play beyond maybe the 3-year deal that's remaining on his contract. I'm not sure, but I never bought into the fact that he was going to step away now. They just won a Super Bowl. Yeah, you could say he could sail off into the sunset. It's good timing. They just won the whole enchilada, but I never thought for a second, that was a play. But really, he didn't need to make a play. He deserved that money. He is that much of a game changer. He's one of the greatest defensive players to have ever played the game. So good on Aaron Donald and the Rams to recognize that and pay him his money. Give the man his money. Later on in the program, we will talk NBA Finals. It will resume tomorrow, Game 3. Some interesting comments made by C.J. McCollum, again, who now is a media member, but also will continue his playing career. Very astute analyst and some interesting comments from him. We'll get to that. Phil Mickelson, what he had to say yesterday as he took to social media. He will be playing in the LIV Tour's first event, which begins Thursday in London, why he made the move and what he expects to do the rest of the way as far as majors are concerned on really wouldn't be the PGA Tour, but obviously the majors that you kind of coincide with the tour here in the United States. But he will be playing in those, and we'll tell you exactly what he had to say about that. When we come back, though, it's all about the SEC and college football in general. And even though Connor specializes in the SEC, got some interesting things from the Big 12 and the payout that they have just received from their television contracts and what will happen with Texas and Oklahoma when they leave, what will happen to the conference and where they go from there, and what's the possibility of expansion when you know there's going to be a dip when the new contract is signed, but how much of a dip will it be, and will the addition of more schools help or hurt? So is that possibility there for Memphis? And we will discuss that when we talk college football in our next segment. Right now I want to talk about the great folks at SeatGeek, the best search engine, period, to find the best tickets to any event you're looking for. Sporting events, comedy shows, concerts of all types, Broadway-type plays. You can get these great tickets by going to SeatGeek. SeatGeek.com or download the SeatGeek app. What they do is they find all the tickets to the event you're looking for. They put them in that one spot right there at SeatGeek.com, and then they will rate all the tickets. So they do all the work for you, 0 to 10. Obviously, if you get a 9 or a 10, you're going to get a great deal. You get a 0 or a 1, stay away from it. Green means good, red means bad. They make it simple for you. They make buying tickets simple. Sometimes it's a big old hassle to try to find tickets, not with SeatGeek. And as I said, all kinds of events coming up. We got the FedEx St. Jude Championship. We got all the concerts live at the Garden, at the Botanic Gardens, including this weekend. I believe Steely Dan is going to be here in Memphis. Got Titans tickets for the 2022 season. Cardinals tickets. Again, I emphasize that my friends went to see the Cardinals and the Brewers for 3 games. They went up to St. Louis. Where did they get their tickets? They got it on SeatGeek.com. They found the best deals possible, and they took advantage of it. And you can take advantage of $20 off your first purchase with promo code GASMAN at SeatGeek.com or by downloading the SeatGeek app. That's promo code GASMAN. Get $20 off your first SeatGeek order. So get up, get out, get off your seat, and get into a great seat. Download the app today. Connor O'Gara is next, just underway on a Tuesday. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You have opinions?
Uh-huh.
Of course you do. Everyone does. Hit us up on the AutoZone listener line, 360-8255, 360-8255.
Regions Bank presents Steely Dan live at the Garden Saturday, June 11th at Radiance Amphitheater. Gates open 6 p.m. Concert starts at 8 p.m. with Snarky Puppy. General admission lawn tickets still available at Ticketmaster.com. For more information, go to liveatthegarden.com. Also presented by Duncan Williams, AutoZone, True Green, Gossett Motors, The Lily Company, Pro Show, and Mahaffey Events.
The Blue Angels are back at the Memphis Air Show, June 18th and 19th at the Millington Memphis Airport. See the Blue Angels rip through the Memphis skies, performing acrobatic maneuvers and formations. Tons of death-defying performers. B-17 Texas Raiders, F-35 Lightning, F-22 Raptor, Leapfrogs, Skip Stewart, Kids Family Fun Zone. All performances are included in the price of admission. Discounted tickets are available for a limited time at MidSouthAirShow.com. See you at the Memphis Air Show, June 18th and 19th at the Millington Memphis Airport.
Progressive presents today's to-do list for your cat.
Take a nap, meow till I get food, walk away from food, move to couch, see human, give cold shoulder. Take a nap, meow till I get
Your
food.
pet has a very busy schedule, so it's up to you to make sure they're protected. That's why Progressive Car Insurance covers your pets for up to $1,000 if they're ever in a car accident with you.
Move to couch, aggressively clean myself. Take a nap, meow till I get food.
Get coverage for your pets with anti-auto policy from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage for cats and dogs included with the purchase of collision coverage and subject to policy terms.
There's a whole lot of celebrating this month, from people graduating to people getting married. June is always a month filled with reasons to do something special. And you can't get much more special than 117 Prime, Memphis's premier downtown dining destination. When you're marking an important milestone like a wedding or graduation, there's simply no better place to do it than 117 Prime. With the best steaks in Memphis and, for those old enough to enjoy them, the unparalleled wine selection and the huge variety of bourbons, and you've got the recipe for special. You've got 117 Prime.
Sports 56 Traffic.
This Sports 56 traffic update is brought to you by Man Cave Salon. Custom haircuts, barber services, and hot steam towel treatments, rejuvenating facials and massages, and zero-gravity full-body massage chairs, now expanded with a built-in bar so you can enjoy a few beers. Man Cave Salon on Facebook and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Right now we're working one accident this morning, and that is on I-240 West between Walnut Grove and Poplar Avenue. That's I-240 West between Walnut Grove and Poplar Avenue. The left lane and the left shoulder is blocked. Keep it right here. This is your Sports 56 traffic update.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings.
Good morning.
On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Sports 56 Mornings. 76 degrees on the way up to about 85 today. We do have rain once again in the forecast for this afternoon. It's not a 100% deal, but a good chance for a thunder boomer or just a rainstorm in your neck of the woods. It will be very humid with the humidity already at 89%. It'll be in the 90s, so another one of those sweltering days that we're used to here in Memphis. We welcome you back, Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, and Zach Boyd on this Tuesday, June 7th. And every Tuesday, we get to talk college football with our buddy Connor O'Gara.
It's time to talk some SEC and college football. Joining Greg and Eli is Connor O'Gara from SaturdayDownSouth.com. Now, here's Connor O'Gara with Greg and Eli.
He is the senior national columnist for Saturday Down South and Saturday Tradition. He is Connor O'Gara. You can follow him on Twitter at CJ O'Gara. He joins us now on Sports 56 Mornings. How are you?
Gentlemen, doing well. I feel like I've been talking a lot about the SEC scheduling models and whatnot, despite the fact that nothing really happened at SEC meetings in Destin, but I've been very fired up about the subject. I've realized for the last 6 days, and I did not think I would be.
So do you have a proposal yourself, which way you think they should go in the future?
I more so just have a pushback to the people that say that the 3-6 is obvious. And for those who don't know what exactly we're talking about, the 3-6 model in the SEC, once Texas and Oklahoma join the conference, which will be as late as 2025, the 3-6 model will be 3 permanent opponents and 6 rotating home and homes. And for everybody that's just been saying, oh, we can't go a year without Alabama, LSU, or it makes sense to go to 9 games because the conference is going to be a gauntlet anyway. So what does it really matter? I'm looking at this going, you guys are not taking in the big picture of this playoff stuff. If playoff expansion was imminent, I think we would have had a resolution in Destin this past week. I think we would have really had clarity about what the future of the conference is going to look like. But instead, we don't, because we don't have clarity on the future of playoff and expansion. And we thought expansion was imminent. Now it's really not. And what if the playoff stays at 4? What if the playoff stays at 4 and the SEC in this 16-team super conference adds an extra conference game and is playing 9 conference games, and there are other Power 5 conferences who are playing 8? What's the SEC doing that for? That's dumb. It doesn't make any sense. So to me, I think that there are a lot of people who are just a little bit closed-minded with some of these discussions, and I'm a little bit more of the 1-7 mindset, though I don't necessarily have a dog in the fight. I'm not like somebody who grew up as a diehard fan of the Georgia-Auburn rivalry or Florida-LSU, so it's a little bit different for me. But I just think there are a lot of sides to this. There are so many moving pieces, and that's what's kind of been lost in translation in this past week.
By the way, I never remember it says 3-6 model. I can't help but think
3-6
Mafia.
Exactly.
Memphis, you got to think 3-6 Mafia. But and that is the big question with the 1-7 model. I mean, it's college football in the South is such about the traditions and everything else, and it's like, can we accept Georgia and Auburn not playing every single year?
Yeah, and look, it's not that they're never going to play anymore. I mean, they would play every third year. You would just have 2-year stretches where they wouldn't be playing, right? So it's not like these rivalries would be going away. And I think for some of them, this is an unpopular opinion, but I think we can go a year or 2 without some of these games. I think it would kind of create even more intensity, even more build-up to some of these rivalries that some of which have gotten a little bit stale. I mean, they just have, like, yeah, Tennessee, Alabama is great. It's fun. People enjoy it in Tuscaloosa. They really do. But come on, man. Like, it's been about as one-sided as there is in college football. And how much more buildup would there be if it'd be like, hey, what if this is the year with an entirely different team instead of just being like, oh, well, last year's team lost by, 28 points. So I guess this year's team doesn't really have a chance. So I'm definitely more of the mindset, like the 1-7 model needs to be heard from, because I don't think people know how bad the numbers are. I mean, the numbers for the 14 playoff era, all 7 national champs, excluding 2020, where conference schedules were all over the place that year, all 7 of those national champs had an 8-game conference schedule. Remember, 2014 Ohio State, the Big Ten, the first 2 years of college football playoff, had a 8-game conference schedule. And then they switched to the 9-game conference schedule in 2016 because why? Money. They wanted to brag about competition. They wanted that TV contract. And then 3 years in a row, they had their conference champ get left out of the playoff. That's bad. Big Ten's only had 1 playoff victory in the last 7 years. I mean, that is not a model that I think we really want to see play out in the SEC. I don't think that would be the case, but the SEC has always gone about this with the postseason in mind, and I think they will go about the scheduling model once Texas and Oklahoma join with the postseason in mind.
So your concern is the wear and tear of the 9th game, the cannibalism that may happen if it stays at 4 teams, that you could knock a team out within your own conference. Is that what I'm hearing?
That's correct. I mean, think about this. Teams that have played the 8-game conference schedule in the college football playoff semifinal matchups, again, we're excluding 2020, they're 13-4. The teams with the 9-game conference schedule, once they get to the college football playoff in those semifinal games, they're 1-8.
Wow.
2014 Oregon was the last time that we saw a team play a 9-game conference schedule and get to the national championship. I mean, I don't think people realize how skewed these numbers are. And I'm not saying that it's just a byproduct of that, but you still have to set yourself up. And if you're of the belief, and listen, we all are, even Big Ten fans can admit, once Texas and Oklahoma join, it's not a debate at all whatsoever. The SEC is the premier conference. So why are you doing things to hurt yourself on your path to the playoff if you're going to have this 8-game gauntlet or this 9-game gauntlet that nobody else is going to have? You have to keep these things in mind and not assume that you're just going to be rewarded at all costs, because there are scenarios in which you could have a 2-loss team in the SEC championship, a 3-loss team perhaps in the SEC championship, and look up and be like, wow, I don't know if they're going to be able to make it into the playoff. I would think that they would no matter what, but at the same time, you want to get multiple teams in. That's the goal. The SEC isn't just about getting one team in. It's about getting 2 teams in. And I think that's what they're going to try and keep in mind with these expansion talks and with these schedule model talks.
The thing, too, that if they were to go to the 9-game schedule, right now they have the whole thing of you got to play a Power 5 non-conference game. I mean, are you going to still keep that requirement? And some of these other non-conference rivalries that are out there. I mean, can Florida, for instance, afford to play a 9-game SEC schedule and still play Florida State on top of that every year? I mean, there's some of these non-conference rivalries that if you had that as a 10th game, all of a sudden become really difficult to play.
Yes, that is 100% true. And that's why you see teams like Kentucky, who wants to continue to beat up on Louisville every year, fighting for the 8-game conference schedule. And they would like to be able to keep that because of these non-conference rivalries. Here's another point that's probably a bit overlooked by those saying the 3-6 is obvious. And again, now every single time I say 3-6, I'm thinking 3-6 Mafia as well. So thank you, guys.
We're in Memphis. We have to think of that.
Right? Exactly. It'd be weird if we didn't.
Whoop that trick. Whoop that trick, Connor.
So I went and looked this up. From 2025 to 2031, these future non-conference schedules, there are a total of 26 instances in which SEC teams have those 4 non-conference slots already filled. If you go to the 9-game conference schedule, you're making a lot of phone calls, you're ripping up a lot of contracts, and some would say, oh, well, why doesn't Mercer just bend over backwards because of this scheduling deal, and why can't they just move to a later date and play in 2036? Well, if you're Mercer, Georgia is the one who's breaching that contract. Pick up your $1.6 million check and then go double dip and then get $1.6 million from Clemson and go play another game. So that's just another part of this that I think is being overlooked. Like 26 contracts that we're talking about that could be ripped up. Georgia's got 5 such seasons. Mizzou's got 7 such seasons from 2025 to 2031 in which they already have all of those non-conference slots filled, assuming that there is an 8-game conference schedule.
Connor O'Gara joining us. He does each and every Tuesday, senior national columnist for Saturday Down South and Saturday Tradition. Make sure to follow him on Twitter at CJ O'Gara. Unless I missed it, I don't believe it was announced during the meetings in Destin of the revenue that was brought in this 21-22 fiscal year for the SEC. I saw what the Big 12 did. Did I miss that, or have they not announced yet?
Greg, there's no way you would have missed that. There's just no way. They've not announced it yet. Trust me. When they announce it, you will know. It will be all over your feed. It will be bragged about by each and every school, each and every fan base. No, that has not come out yet. It's kind of crazy to look at some of these numbers of what they're projected to be in the latter half of the decade when they get into the $100 million range. I mean, that's what we're talking about here with these new TV contracts and how insane they're going to be. And that's another part of this. The 8-game and 9-game conference schedule isn't impacting the TV contract. I saw Ross Ellinger report that as well, about how that's not going to change the money that the SEC brings in. So that's just something to keep in mind if you're thinking, well, that's a positive for the 3-6 model, that they're all of a sudden going to get so much more TV money. That's context that needs to be added, because I think people look at the Big Ten and say, well, that's why they've been doing the 9-game conference schedule. They've made more money. It makes more sense. But I just think that's also something that's been a bit overlooked.
No, the revenue goes up because, 1, it's the SEC. 2, you're adding Texas and Oklahoma. Those numbers are going to be astronomical. Now, I wanted to ask you about the Big 12. I know your emphasis is on the SEC, but you cover all things college football. The Big 12 several days ago announcing a record $426 million of revenue for its 10 schools. That's nearly a 25% increase from the year prior. Now, of course, COVID made it reared its ugly head and certainly affected that. But that's crazy. $426 million. Now, we know they are going to drop like a rock when Oklahoma and Texas leave when that next television contract is signed. But it still could be pretty attractive. Now, whether or not they'll be in bed with ESPN is yet to be seen. It could be Fox and only Fox when that deal is done. But I want to ask you, because I don't even know if we've ever brought this up with you. We've brought it up with other guests. Once they lose Texas and Oklahoma, obviously next year they're bringing in Cincinnati and UCF, Houston, and BYU. So for a while there, they're going to be 14, they're going to be 14, and then they're going to drop back down to 12. The question is, will it benefit the Big 12 to add from 12 once everything settles down, right? Oklahoma, Texas leaves, and the other 4 come in, and they're at 12. They're back to 12. Is it smart for them to go to 14 or go to 16 when we know that the numbers are going to drop for their television contract? Can you sell me on adding schools? And, of course, I'm getting to the point of trying to add a Memphis, which has been rumored now since the last editions of realignment. What do you think in the end will happen with the Big 12?
I think that if you're the Big 12, you have to add the right schools. You can't just add for the sake of adding, which I felt like in the beginning of the 2010s, there was some of that mindset. I think we all assumed the Big Ten was going to add. I think we talked a lot about Iowa State and Kansas potentially going to the Big Ten after we found out that the SEC was adding Oklahoma and Texas. So if you're the Big 12 and if you're thinking about this moving forward, I think they've made 4 pretty solid additions here. I think BYU is kind of the underrated one because of the unique things that they offer and what they're able to do out there in Provo. But I still think that if you're adding a team, first of all, you got to be adding multiple. It's like when you're playing a game of pickup, you're not just adding one. It's like, all right, you and bring somebody else along. So who would that other team be that they would bring into the conference? Because you've already got the ones. Houston was the big one, in my opinion, that made just the most sense. And Cincinnati, of course, the timing is great, and UCF makes a lot of sense. And what they've done to elevate themselves in the last few years, it is really remarkable as someone who lives in Orlando. But who would that other team be? That'd be my pushback, because Memphis makes sense, and you can sell Memphis because of, especially of what they've been able to do in the 2 big revenue sports with football and basketball, becoming a lot more consistent on the football field, obviously, and it's not just been the byproduct of one coach. So I would say, though, who's that other team? Because it's not USF. It's not at this stage.
What about Boise?
I can't. I mean, the tough sell with Boise, and they've been a little bit resistant to that. And from a basketball perspective, they obviously don't move the needle. I mean, they don't. I realize they were better this past year, but that'd be maybe the only one. But I don't even know if they'd be open to that conversation in the same sort of way. I think they kind of like their identity. I don't know if they would be chomping at the bit to get that Big 12 offer. I just don't know. I would have to look into that more. But really, that list is small, and that's probably the issue for Memphis, is that they would need a mate that would really need to make a lot of sense. And again, the Big 12 also doesn't want to be like, oh, hey, half of your conference is these teams who were just group of 5 schools 5 minutes ago. So that's probably a little bit of the resistance as well.
So the Women's College World Series finalist, Texas versus Oklahoma, do you think Greg Sankey will claim a national championship?
He should, man. Look, it just means more. I'm sure that'll be claimed. It just will. It absolutely will. Look, it's actually, it's really interesting kind of looking at the way that college softball is turned around. I know we just talk about college football here on Tuesday mornings, but we did a series called Launch Mode on Saturday down south. Derek Peterson, my coworker, talked to Jocelyn Allo, who's the star for Oklahoma.
She's unbelievable.
Yeah, she's unbelievable. I mean, we had Georgina Carrick, the USF pitcher as well, that we talked to for a story. And I talked to actually the daughter of Jason Williams, a.k.a. White Chocolate, Mia Williams, who is the #1 recruit in the 2023 class. She's been committed to Florida since she was 12 years old. I mean, she's unbelievable. She's the next Alex. She's like the Alex Rodriguez of softball. That's the comp that she's getting at this stage. So, like, we're talking a lot about softball, actually, and there's a growing market in the SEC. I think the SEC really does take pride in that. and being the premier conference for that. Obviously, it would have helped the SEC's cause a little bit more if Montana Falcons and Alabama could have stayed alive. But nonetheless, Greg Sankey will definitely be claiming that national championship in probably a few short days here.
Well, you have them in the final, and then both Texas and Oklahoma's baseball teams advanced to super regionals too. So you think about that, like you look at SEC baseball, how good it is, and then all of a sudden you're throwing Texas and Oklahoma into that mix. My goodness, in baseball, that conference is going to be ridiculous.
Yeah, it might end up just being an all SEC College World Series. No, that can't happen. I don't think. I haven't broken down all the super regionals yet. I just know that there are the 5 SEC teams in there. But what a great future potential matchup that would be to see, like Tennessee against Oklahoma in a national championship or something like that. I'm interested to kind of see the way that this plays out with Tennessee and kind of them taking on this role as the ultimate villain. I know the stat about number 1 overall seed hasn't won it all since Miami in 1999. It's pretty crazy to think that it's been that long, but this Tennessee team they're feeling themselves. No doubt about that. Say what you will about them. They do not lack confidence.
When you're flipping the bird while running the bases, I would say yes, you're feeling yourself.
Hey, real quick, Connor. I know it wasn't discussed, or at least I didn't hear any stories coming from at the SEC meetings, but I still find it hard to believe that Texas and Oklahoma are going to fulfill their contract and not come to the SEC until 2025. Is there anything more on that? I mean, it still boggles the mind that they can't figure something out. I know it's a huge exit fee, but really? Are we going to wait 3 more, or is it 2022, 2023, 2024?
Yep.
At least 3 full seasons more of football before they would even be eligible to come over?
Greg, here's why. If playoff expansion was happening, they would probably fight to be able to bring them on board. But if they're going to stay at 4, what sense of urgency does the SEC have? That deal's done. It's taken care of. They don't have to worry about that. It's not this will they, won't they, let's do whatever we can to eventually get them on board. That contract is signed, man. It's happening. So if you're the SEC, why do you want to expand to 16 teams when you still have this 14 playoff that's going to be in effect now, it looks like, through the 2025 season? So there's not that same sort of sense of urgency that there might have been early on when, let's remember the timing of this. Initially, it's announced that expansion is happening, and then we find out Texas and Oklahoma are going to the SEC. And that's why the alliance was like, oh, wait, hold on a minute. Let's maybe think about expansion, and we don't want to necessarily do this the wrong way. So there's chess being played here, and to pay upwards of, you'd be paying north of $100 million to get each of them out of the Big 12, which is much different than paying between $17 and $20 million per team like you did for UCF and Houston, Cincinnati, and BYU. So if you're doing that, I guess BYU wasn't part of that, but so that's why that sense of urgency just isn't there to pay that amount of money for them to join the conference early for what? Like the SEC's already dominated the 14 playoff. They can already get 2 teams in. That probably just hurts them at this stage of the game. So I think that's probably part of it from Greg Sankey's standpoint.
Yeah, and on the flip side, Oklahoma would have a better chance right now, I think, in the Big 12, their final few years, to get back into the playoff as opposed to maybe jumping right in, feet first into the SEC.
Well, if they need
Texas too.
If they need that money to get them out, they could always talk to the Saudis. They're throwing money around like it's nothing these days. I don't know.
See, I heard the subtle Texas, but I didn't want to bring them up since they haven't figured it out yet. So I'm going to go with Oklahoma for now.
Well, I was going to say, once Texas can stop losing to Maryland in non-conference play, then they'll have a chance.
There you go. He's Connor O'Gara, senior national columnist for Saturday Down South and Saturday Tradition. You can follow him on Twitter at CJ O'Gara. I suggest you do. And make sure you catch him every Tuesday right here on Sports 56 Mornings. Connor, thank you so much. Have a great week.
Absolutely. Appreciate it, guys.
Take care.
We got a text we get back about the rivalry situation, and that's one of the things, again, that has to be considered in these scheduling things. And we'll get to that coming up. Black Tie Moving, the experts when it comes to moving. If you've got a move coming up, you want to make sure you get the right folks helping you do that. At Black Tie Moving is the one call you need to make it, 901-316-6196. Or you can go to blacktiemoving.com/Memphis. Folks at Black Tie Moving, they sit down with you, come up with a plan for your move that fits your needs and fits your budget as well. They give you a quote up front, no obligation quote up front to let you know what it's going to cost as well, doing as little or as much as you want them to do. Whether you're moving across town, whether you're moving across country, whether you're home, office, whatever it is, The folks at Black Tie Moving can take the stress and worry out of the process for you. Again, 901-316-6196 or go to blacktiemoving.com/Memphis.
Just watch that Escobar triple. That's still amazing to me that with 2 outs in the 9th inning, the guy got a 2-run triple to complete the cycle for the New York Mets in their 11-5 win over the San Diego Padres. We will take a quick timeout, come back, as Eli said, got a little bit of information, and then also we'll give you the topic for tomorrow's 5 favorite things, but we do have a text that we want to get to as far as rivalries are concerned. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Get your afternoon started with Peter Edmiston and Anthony Sang and Sports 56 Grind Time. Weekdays from 1 to 3 on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
For the latest from the world of golf, tune in every Saturday morning from 9 to 11 for the Golf Shop Radio Show. Hosts Mark Greenhelge and Matt Blanchard talk golf from tee to green and everything in between. If you like golf, you're going to love Golf Shop Radio. Before you tee up, drop on in. Welcome to the Golf Shop here on Sports 56. Real sports talk.
There's an institution in East Memphis that I love talking about. It's the Spirit Shop at 4848 Poplar Avenue, right down the street from Clark Tower, and it looks like a log cabin. It's been around Memphis since 1969 with a family-owned, friendly, knowledgeable sales staff that is just a wonderful place to go. I love going in and talking wine or bourbons, and they've got such great selection. So if you've not visited the Spirit Shop in a while, it's been remodeled. You'll love what you see when you need spirits. Tell Eddie Wollo said hello.
Hi, this is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. Now that the warmer weather has arrived,
let Choates perform their $99 20-point AC tune-up
to get your AC ready for the hot summer months ahead. Also, Choates is offering our half-off 1 pound of Freon coupon on our website for you to use. Does your HVAC system need to be replaced? If so, right now is an excellent time to take advantage of Carrier's 60 months no-interest financing on select systems. Want to improve your indoor air quality? Choates is also offering our new APCO air purifier for $100 off when you get your air ducts cleaned. UV technology sterilizes biological contaminants and neutralizes odors and toxic VOCs. Match that technology with getting your air ducts cleaned, and you'll have the indoor air quality your family needs. Better call 347-8086 today. These specials won't last long. Turn to the experts with Choates and let our family serve your family.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, Orco hard coolers, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps. Fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings. Good morning. On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Tomorrow, 5 favorite things brought to you by Bartlett Small Engine and East Memphis Ace Hardware. Your topic for tomorrow, since it's the hottest movie out there, I haven't seen it yet, but everybody says it's great. The latest from Tom Cruise, Maverick, right? Tom Cruise movies. Your 5 favorite Tom Cruise movies for tomorrow's 5 favorite things.
Yeah, I have not seen Maverick yet. I want to see it. Excited to see it. I've not heard any bad word about it. Everybody loves it. I know I will. I'm assuming I will love it. I'm looking forward to seeing the new Top Gun movie. Got a text from Randy. says, I think we are truly overlooking the importance of rivalries when it comes to scheduling. Example, Bears versus Packers, Lakers versus Celtics, Red Sox versus Yankees, Ohio State versus Michigan. I believe as fans and as purists, I want to keep rivalries intact and create new ones the way baseball did with realignment years ago. Well, yeah, and that becomes, again, the question with the SEC is, with some of the rivalries, some of these teams just have multiple big rivalries that they have played for years and years. Can fans of, say, and the biggest one probably would be Auburn and Georgia, the South oldest rivalry, all that. Can those fans live with that game not being played every year? Again, it's not like it's going to go 10 years without being played. They're going to play still very often, but it's just not going to be played every year if they go with the 1-7 format. And are fans okay with that? And especially the other thing that fans have to look at is some of the non-conference rivalries. If you go to the 9-game conference schedule, the 3-6 Mafia model, to keep more of the in-conference rivalries played every year, you may lose some of the non-conference rivalries that are out there. So do you want to lose those and keep the rivalries in the conference being played every year? Or would you, and the other thing is that we talked about this with Barrett Sallee last week, would you rather have some other opponents that you normally wouldn't get to play in some big non-conference games, maybe some of the the neutral site games, stuff like that, in place of that rivalry game once every 3 years or whatever? So that's the thing. Like I don't know. I don't know what Georgia fans or what Auburn fans would say. Would Georgia rather be able to play a Notre Dame, for instance, or would they rather play Auburn every single year?
Well, I think Randy's right. I think rivalries, if you can keep them intact, you keep them intact. I think they're important for the history of those particular programs. He talked about a lot of the professional sports. Well, those rivalries are always going to be there, right? You're always going to play, for the most part. In the NBA, you're obviously playing everybody, and you're playing everybody at least twice. If you're in the different conference, you're playing everybody twice. And then within the conference, you're playing way more than that. The NFL, if you're in the division, you're playing twice. So there's rivalries that have always been maintained. And I think it would be very hard, to be honest with you, for Auburn and Georgia to stop the oldest rivalry in the South. Or is this the oldest rivalry in college football, period? I know it's historically one of the greatest rivalries they have. Yet Auburn's biggest rival is Alabama. And Alabama's biggest rival is Auburn. Then you have the whole Tennessee and Florida, but Tennessee plays Alabama. There's so many crossovers. And like you said, then you get to those non-conference rivals. For Florida, you got to turn around and play Florida State every year. And I know Florida State's been down here recently, but they won't be down for long. So you got a big battle there with the rivalry that's in the non-conference portion of your schedule. But I would do everything I can to maintain the long-standing rivalries.
But again, if it isn't played every year, does that mean the rivalry goes away?
I don't know.
I mean, you're still playing most of the time. I mean, most years you are playing. You'll have a year here and there where you don't play it. Does that be like, oh gosh, it's not a rivalry anymore? We only play 7 out of 10 years.
Would you want the Army-Navy game not to be played 3 out of 10 years?
I don't care.
No. You want the Army and Navy game to be played every single year. You want Army-Navy. You want the Egg Bowl. You want the Iron Bowl. And I know these will continue to be, even if it's the 1-7 model or whatever. But you have these other, I don't want to say secondary rivalries because they may be more important. Who knows what it is with a Auburn fan when they look at Auburn, Georgia. I would assume that Auburn, Alabama is number one for them, but maybe they have a mixed household where they have a Georgia graduate and they care more about that game and they wouldn't have that game every year. I don't know. You're right. You would have to almost poll those fans to see what they think. But I hate to lose. I hate to lose rivalries. I really do. The tradition, especially the pomp and circumstance and tradition of college football. But then the other thing is,
you're not losing them. They're still going to be played most years. That's the point.
But people want to see them every year. That would be the argument. You want to see them every year. The other thing is too that you don't want to lose the FCS game even though I wouldn't have a problem with it, but I understand what it means for the financial stability of those athletic departments. So it's extremely important for them, and you would hate to see them sink. But the only problem I have is don't play them all on the same weekend. We've seen so many of those SEC seasons where you get to that one weekend in November where they're all playing FCS opponents. Just a stinky schedule, to be honest with you. But I don't think you lose those. So if you're going to go to 9 for conference and you still keep the FCS, then you got 2 non-conference games of substance, and you're going to have to play at least one really good team, maybe even 2, to put yourself in a position for the playoffs. So I don't know. It's an interesting question. It's a fair question. Personally, I'm trying to think if there's anything like when Maryland was in the ACC and you told me, see, football wasn't so much that they had these big rivalries. And in basketball, they're always going to play. But let's say it was Maryland and Virginia, and they didn't play every year, and that was their rival. I'd have an issue with that. But mine was more affected by basketball, and they were always playing in basketball. So in football, it's a different ballgame, especially when you have these multiple rivalries. Will you be affected if one year they don't have that game? And then it comes back, like you said, Eli, maybe the next year. I don't know. I mean, that's one of those deals where the fans would have to speak out and say whether they like it or not. But I think that's certainly a possibility that you lose some of these secondary rivalries. When we come back, hour 2 of the program, we'll kick things off with Humdinger's Trivia. We got some baseball to get into, a little bit of baseball news, got a little bit of NHL news as well. And we'll talk about Phil Mickelson and him leaving basically the PGA Tour for this LIV Tour and what it'll mean for his legacy. Parker Fleming at 8:25 on the Grizzlies and trade possibilities. And we got some NFL to get into as well. Your calls and texts are welcome on the AutoZone listener lines by calling in or texting in at 901-360-8255. Get in the zone, AutoZone. You're tuned into Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone, where we've got more ways to get you what you need your way. Get the job done today with our free same-day store pickup. Just order online and pick it up the same day at your local AutoZone. Or get it done tomorrow with our free next-day delivery. Just order on AutoZone.com by 10 p.m. and we'll deliver it to you the next day. Getting your job done just got easier. Free next-day delivery and eligible orders. Restrictions at AutoZone.com.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
It's time to vacation at home with Family Leisure. That's right. Enjoy a vacation in your own backyard with a little help from Family Leisure. Like play gyms and trampolines, they're now $500 off. And those trampolines, by the way, they've got that mesh on the side, so trampolines are now safe and you'll be the hit of the neighborhood. They've got hot tubs in stock and ready to go, and you can get up to $1,000 off when you pick them up. All kinds of do-it-yourself pool specials, like savings of up to $1,500 on all in-stock pools when you pick it up and install them yourself. And if you're looking for patio furniture, then stop on in, because they have tons in stock and they're ready for you to pick up. So get ready for that vacation at home with the help from Family Leisure. Family Leisure's Vacation at Home sale. It's happening right now at Witten Road and I-40, where family and fun truly do come together.
Simple, smooth, and every sip as easy as the last. Tito's handmade vodka tastes just as good with tap water as it does with your favorite mixer. Back in the day, Tito distilled, hand bottled, taste tested, sent to a few friends, then taste tested again to give you the finest juice around. No frills, no flavors, no fancy labels, just the good stuff. Just Tito's. For recipes, videos, and more, visit Tito'sVodka.com.
Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas, 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Sports 56 Traffic.
This Sports 56 traffic update is brought to you by Crossroads Motors in Olive Branch. Right now, there are no accidents or delays to report. The accident on 240 West between Walnut Grove and Poplar Avenue, the accident has been cleared. All lanes are open. So the accident has been cleared. So we're working with no accidents or delays as of right now. Keep it right here. This is your Sports 56 traffic update.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Don't you just love it?
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 8:04 the time. Hour number 2 here on Sports 56 Mornings. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, and Zach Boyd coming at you from the Family Leisure Studios, where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Witten Road, just north of I-40. Currently 77 degrees at 8:04. On the way up to about 84. Partly cloudy. See a little sun, little clouds, and then later this afternoon, the chance of some more rain after a pretty rainy Monday. In fact, could be some thunder boomers in your neck of the woods early evening, and then the humidity really rising. It's already high right now at 86%. It's going to be in the 90s, so another sweltering day here in the Mid-South. We have Humdinger's Trivia coming your way in just a few moments. Going to talk little golf, little Stanley Cup playoffs, little NBA Finals, kind of a smorgasbord of things. And then Parker Fleming at 8:25 on the Grizzlies and trade possibilities as we get set for the NBA Draft, which is 2 weeks from Thursday. But James Gaddis Jewelers is the second hour sponsor of Sports 56 Mornings. We can't thank them enough for being a part of our program each and every day. 4900 Poplar between Mendenhall and St. Nick in the heart of East Memphis, on the web at GaddisJewelers.com. If you're looking for that special diamond ring, that engagement ring, wedding rings, this is the place to go. But also for a beautiful watch, bracelet, necklace, all types of fine gemstones. They also have estate and vintage jewelry. They're always adding to their collection. They have 2 repair experts ready to serve you with your fine watches and jewelry, whether it's a simple cleaning or refitting, whatever the case may be. Layaway and financing is available, and they can customize any type of jewelry. So you get those family heirlooms hanging around. You want a nice new look, they can do that for you. In fact, they can provide a free 3D rendering of what it will look like in just a couple of days. And modern computers can do all that stuff, and then they can make that jewelry fit to what your specifications are. They do it all at James Gaddis Jewelers, your one-stop shop, locally owned and operated, and been around Memphis for over a quarter century. It's James Gaddis Jewelers, 4900 Poplar between Mendenhall and St. Nick, and on the web at GaddisJewelers.com.
It's time for Humdinger's Trivia. It's an opportunity for somebody out there to win a $25 gift certificate to Humdingers to go enjoy some delicious food over at Poplar and Massey. That's where you will find Humdingers. And, of course, today being Tuesday means it's Taco Tuesday. And every single Tuesday, their chicken and fish tacos, just $2 each all day long. Great opportunity to take advantage of that special deal each and every Tuesday. Along with the tacos, so many other great items on the menu to choose from the grilled fish options to the crispy fish and chips to you can go with the sandwiches and salads, great sides, great toppings on those grilled fish items as well that you'll find over at Humdinger's. It's just absolutely delicious, inexpensive, healthy stuff that you could choose from. HumdingersRestaurant.com. You can check out the entire menu there. And again, if you answer today's trivia question correctly, enter the first to do so, then you'll get a $25 gift certificate to Humdingers to go over there and enjoy some of that great food. You can answer via the AutoZone listener line by texting in. That is 901-360-8255, 901-360-8255, the AutoZone listener line. And here is today's question. There's been a lot of talk about Steph Curry. No NBA Finals MVP awards for him to this point. Could change that this season. Since the year 2000, there are 6 guys who have won multiple NBA Finals MVPs. Name the 6. 6 guys since the year 2000 that have won multiple NBA Finals MVP awards. 901-360-8255. Text in your answer. First correct answer gets that $25 gift certificate to Humdingers.
That's a lot of guys. Since 2000?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. Stanley Cup playoffs, we don't talk a lot of the hockey on this particular show, and maybe we should, because the Stanley Cup playoffs, it's second to none. The action, the ebb and flows of these games. Last night was absolutely bonkers between the Avalanche and the Oilers. Colorado rallies, and they win in overtime 6-5, so they sweep the Oilers 4-0, and now Colorado gets to relax, and I mean relax, because it's going to be quite some time before we know who they'll play in the Stanley Cup Finals, because the other series is 2-1 Rangers over Tampa Bay, Game 4 tonight in Tampa, and that has a chance to go, I think, the distance. So the Avalanche will rest and they'll relax, but they win 6-5 in overtime yesterday to win that series 4-0. My question is, what's happened to goaltending in the NHL? What is going on? We talked about all the runs being scored in the college baseball regionals, just crazy games, very rare to have the pitchers' duels, even though Ole Miss was involved in a couple of low-scoring games. Hockey, every time you look up now, it's 6-5, 8-6, 10-8. I mean, do these guys just stink, the goalkeepers, anymore? Or have they changed the rules, I wonder, in hockey to make it more offensive-friendly? I don't know. I don't know the sport well enough. I watch it. I enjoyed it as a kid. Went to Flyers games as a kid. You come here to Memphis, and it's not really in the mindset of most people. Maybe some transplants. But to watch it is really enjoyable, especially in the postseason, because the playoffs, the Stanley Cup playoffs, are exciting. But anyway, I don't know what's going on with goalkeeping, because it's just an offensive barrage each and every night. And one other note, go ahead.
With the Avalanche winning, that ensures that we once again will keep the Stanley Cup in America and keep the streak alive.
USA! USA!
We have 93 last time a Canadian team won it.
And I know you feel bad for the Canadians.
We have taken over their sport.
We have taken over their sport. That is sad.
Take that, Canada.
Speaking of the NHL, I don't get this one. The Bruins have fired their head coach, a guy by the name of Bruce Cassidy. 6 seasons, playoffs every season, Stanley Cup Finals in 2019. His record, 245 wins, 108 losses, and 46 ties in 399 games. But he gets canned. Because they expect cups up in Boston since everybody else wins championships in Boston? All their sports entities?
I got nothing for you on the Bruins and their coaching situation.
No, I brought it up because I'm like, what is this guy? What does he have to do here? Playoffs every season, Stanley Cup Finals in 19. I guess he's got to win a cup. When you have the Patriots up there and you have the Bruins and their the Celtics and their legacy, when you have the Red Sox and what they've done in this century, I guess you got to keep winning. You got to win it all, not just get to the playoffs. But Cassidy out after 6 seasons.
Give me the hot NHL coaching candidates out there as possible replacements.
I will give you one. Barry Trotz, who used to be the Nashville Predators head coach. It was the Capitals, and this past year, I think it was the Islanders. How about that for you with the hockey knowledge?
I hate it when I get the Barry Trotz.
From the NBA, C.J. McCollum, again, he's a player with the New Orleans Pelicans, but he's also now an analyst for Is it ESPN or TNT? Where's he doing his thing?
He's on ESPN, I believe, right?
Is he
CJ's with ESPN right now.
Okay, so CJ's really good. Very intelligent, well thought out. He said, now, believe it or not, You could buy into this. You may not. You may do so. Warriors have no chance if Klay Thompson continues to play the way he's playing. Agree or disagree, gentlemen? The Warriors, who are 1-1 now with Boston, mind you, Klay has not been good at all. If Klay continues to play like this, they have no chance to beat Boston. I think as long as Steph continues to be Steph and Draymond plays like he did in Game 2 and not Game 1, they have a great chance to win the series. What do you think?
I disagree.
Disagree with me or disagree with CJ?
I disagree with CJ.
Okay.
Because I think Wiggins has stepped up so far throughout these playoffs that you can say that, okay, like we can count on Wiggins to get you something. You can count on Poole if his shot is falling. And then all you asking for your auxiliary players is to kind of just chip in when Boston is going on their runs. And so the Warriors can win a couple of games without Klay.
Can they win the series?
Can they win the series?
That's what CJ's
No.
saying. So you agree with him then?
Well, I disagree with the notion of they can't win the series without Klay, but I have them losing the series.
Okay. But you would say that he's wrong. They do have a chance to win. You're just picking Boston.
Yes.
And he thinks that they have no chance if Thompson isn't back to being Klay. I don't know if Klay will ever be Klay. We've seen glimpses of Klay in that series with the Grizzlies. Eli, if Klay does not play like he's capable or what he used to be, do they have no chance to win the series, according to what C.J. McCollum said?
Well, they have a chance. I mean, they just won a game with him going 4 for 19. He wasn't – Game 1, Klay was fine, and they lost the game. Game 2, he was terrible. They won the game. So clearly they can win without Klay being very good. I mean, so that's a very strange statement to make after a game that they just won.
Right.
Which they won, by the way, by, 22 points, in which Klay was terrible.
Yeah.
It's just a dumb statement.
Yeah, from a smart guy, a guy who knows the game. But I was thinking about that as well. I'm going, how can you say that, especially the timing? Now, if you had said that after Game 1, that would still be a little bit curious because, like you said, Klay was fine in Game 1. They just happened to lose. So that statement wouldn't make sense after Game 1, but it really doesn't make a lot of sense after Game 2 either because they won despite Klay Thompson shooting bricks up there. I don't think Klay Thompson he's important, but the key to this team, as long as Steph is Steph, the key is Draymond Green. There's no question about it. On both ends, Draymond Green is the key. Now, if Boston gets the type of production that they got from everyone like they did in Game 1, and they're all contributing, I mean, everybody from Peyton Pritchard to Derek White to whoever, they are winning. They are winning. I still got Golden State in 6, but I don't think they can have that. And we saw what Draymond Green and company were able to do to take Al Horford away from that outside game we saw in Game 1. He was a non-factor in Game 2 with just 2 points, and Marcus Smart only had 2 points.
Now, if Klay plays like he did in Game 2, what it does is put pressure on Wiggins. Poole. Like somebody's got to step up and be the secondary scorer, and they probably need a third one as well. But those guys have proven more than capable of doing that throughout this postseason. Klay basically has had one great game in every series. Like he had the Game 6 against the Grizzlies. He had Game 5 against Dallas. Like he's had that one game where he goes off. And he hasn't been terrible in all the other games. He's had some games where he's been okay, other games where he hasn't been able to hit anything, and then he's had the one kind of blow-up game where he goes crazy in the series. So, he still has that potential to get hot at any time and knock down threes. But as long as they're getting a secondary scorer with Curry and then, somebody else probably also contributing. But, I mean, if you're getting, if you just look at the last game when Klay, if you're getting 12 points out of Kevon Looney, like that's a complete bonus. Like you don't care. They don't expect Kevon Looney really to score at all. So if he gets you 12 points and then you throw in Jordan Poole being the secondary guy or whatever, and then they can be just fine. But it just puts pressure on Wiggins and Poole and Looney or whoever to be that next scorer if Klay's not going to be the guy.
Yeah, Looney under the radar has been really good for Golden State. He's been a find. And when you can get offense from him as well, along with his shot blocking ability and especially his rebounding, that's a bonus. We talked about Boston always able or seemingly always able to bounce back from a loss. Boston has not played great at home. They're good, but they have played really well on the road. We know that Golden State, history will tell you, they're going to win at least one game on the road in the series. So they're going to try to go into Boston and steal back home court advantage and make it maybe a best of 3 if they split. I think there's a good chance that they'll split. But it's hard to go against Boston tomorrow night because, like you said yesterday on the show, their record recently of winning after a loss, how they're able to, whether they change up some things, they go back and they make adjustments, or just get more focused after a loss, that they'll be ready to go.
Well, they have been dominant in these playoffs after losses, winning by, I don't know, I think it's like average of 15 points per game or something in games after losses. So I would expect a strong performance out of Boston coming up tomorrow night. We do have a winner in the Humdingers trivia. The question was, which 6 players since the year 2000 have won multiple NBA Finals MVP awards? Do you care to give it a go?
Oh, I do.
All right,
go ahead.
I mean, there's a
That's
couple.
Kobe.
Couple obvious.
Yeah, Kobe is one.
There's Kobe. There's LeBron.
Yeah, and there's one more obvious.
There's KD.
There you go.
There's
There you
Kawhi.
There you go. You got
Shaq.
2 more. There you go.
Huh?
There you go. You got one more.
That's Tim Duncan.
There you go.
Good job, Zach.
Very well done.
And you did it off the top of your head. You didn't look that up, did you?
No.
Okay.
Congratulations to you, although you don't win the prize.
You're ineligible.
But yes, Shaq, Tim Duncan, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard have all won multiple NBA Finals MVPs since the year 2000. A few people to get the correct answer. And the first one, there is one that was before all of the others. So that first person will be the winner and get the $25 gift certificate to Humdingers. We will notify the winner so you will know that if you got it correct and you don't get anything from us, well, you were not the first with that correct answer.
That is impressive, though. We've had a couple of decades of NBA Finals in this century, and you've had 6 multiple Finals MVPs. And Steph Curry has not won 1 Finals MVP. That's a lot of talent right there that stepped up on the big forum, if you will.
Yeah, because they gave the first one to Iguodala, their first championship.
That's right, they did.
The other part of that question would be just the guys who have won an NBA Finals MVP since 2000 who didn't win multiple, because there's not many of them.
Exactly. I mean, that's impressive to have those guys.
You named one of them, and Andre Iguodala.
Would Dirk be one?
Dirk would be one.
How about Wade?
Dwayne Wade would be one.
Yep.
There's 2 other guys.
Is
No,
Giannis?
3 other guys. Giannis last year.
Yeah, Giannis last year. So 2 others. 2 others.
I'm drawing a blank.
Wait, let me think here. How about somebody like didn't the Pistons win one in like Billups or something? Or
Chauncey Billups.
how about that?
Yeah.
All right, one more. Okay. How about?
Actually, there's 2 more. There is 2 more.
There's 2 more?
I forgot one other one. Yep.
Well, how about like Parker?
Tony Parker did win one.
Okay. And so one more. I knew Duncan didn't win them all for the Spurs. So one more. One more.
Eastern or Western?
Eastern Conference.
I figured.
Eastern Conference, one more. It would be.
The team is playing right now.
Paul Pierce?
Paul Pierce.
Yeah. There we go. Good job. Good job by everybody. Speaking of.
I thought I was excellent.
Speaking of Boston, former Boston general manager, now general manager and president of the Utah Jazz, Danny Ainge. See how I had made that transition, had to figure out Boston to Utah. But he came out yesterday and he said they wanted desperately to keep Quinn Snyder. So this one, if anybody thought that he was shown the door or kind of forced out because of the underachievement of the Utah Jazz, not so fast, my friends. Danny Ainge said, nope, we wanted him. Quinn was kind of burned out and said that they probably need some new eye, or he did say, I think they need a new pair of eyes to kind of look at everything that's going on. Quinn Snyder will be highly sought after, but he will not be coaching next season. So right now you have the Utah opening and you still have the Charlotte opening. We know that Kenny Atkinson and Mike D'Antoni are two, I believe, of the finalists for Charlotte, but not sure what direction Danny Ainge will go with as far as Utah is concerned. We'll go yard all June long with $5 Dinger Tuesdays on FanDuel Sportsbook. This season, all customers will get $5 for every home run hit by both teams when you place a $25 to hit a home run wager on Tuesday Major League Baseball games. And the best part about Dinger Tuesdays is even if your bet loses, FanDuel will pay you $5 for every home run. I have been on the Aaron Judge train. I will continue to be on the Aaron Judge train. Aaron Judge to homer tonight, the Yankees at the Minnesota Twins. So what are you waiting for? Pick your home run hitter and turn big swings into big wins. There's no better place to bet America's pastime than on America's #1 sportsbook. Head over to your FanDuel account or download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Sign up using promo code GASMAN. That's promo code GASMAN. Must be 21 or over, present in Tennessee. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Max bonus $25. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you have a gambling issue, call Tennessee Redline at 1-800-889-9789. When we return, we're talking Grizzlies with Parker Fleming. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
They say that the egg is nature's perfect food. That's hard to argue with, especially if you're talking about the farm fresh eggs at Sunrise on Jefferson. And you're talking about partnering them with all the other fast and fresh food at Sunrise. Slap an egg on one of Sunrise's signature square breakfast sandwiches, along with bacon and cheddar or house-smoked seasoned bologna, and you're in egg heaven. Why did the chicken cross the road? To become part of the mother and child reunion with fried chicken breast, house-made pickles, and Tabasco honey. That, friends, is nature's perfect food. That's Sunrise.
Barden Stone has been serving the Mid-South area for over 3 generations. What sets them apart and makes them unique? Landscape Stone Center. They have one of the largest selections with a wide variety of colors and sizes, all the way from cobblestones to garden rock and pebbles from ground cover, plus fieldstone and flagstone, stepping stones and stacking stones, even landscape boulders. In addition to a wide variety of stones and rocks, Barden Stone staff is very knowledgeable. Whether you're a homeowner, contractor, or design professional, Barden Stone can answer any question pertaining to the use of stones from A to Z. Barden Stone, they know stone inside and out. Barden Stone, 1 mile south of Park at 1557 Cherry Road. Barden Stone, open for you Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 12 noon. Call 901-683-8264 and visit Barden Stone.
Sports 56 traffic.
Right now, we're working one accident that is on 385 West at I-240. That's 385 West at I-240. Traffic is stacking up back towards Kirby Parkway. That's 385 West at I-240. Expect delays in that direction. Other than that, no other delays or accidents to report. Keep it right here. This is your Sports 56 traffic update.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
To reveal the full spectrum of its dazzling color.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
79 degrees currently at 8:27. On the way up to about 84, 85 today. There is rain in the forecast for this afternoon, possibly a thunderstorm or two into the evening hours. High humidity. As I mentioned, a temperature that will rise to about 85 degrees. So a little bit like we had yesterday where we had a lot of rain in the afternoon. That's your forecast for today. We're going to talk with our friend Parker Fleming in just a moment. Just a reminder, if you missed it earlier, 5 favorite things for tomorrow. The topic, your 5 favorite Tom Cruise movies. Your 5 favorite Tom Cruise movies for tomorrow's 5 favorite things. Well, 2 weeks from Thursday is the NBA draft. It is right around the corner. Are the Grizzlies going to stay put with their 2 picks in the 20s and their second-round pick? Are they going to make a move? Is there going to be any trades? We will talk with Parker Fleming about that, those possibilities, and what the offseason looks like for the Grizzlies after a tremendous 2021-2022 season. Parker is the site manager for SBN Grizzlies and the host of the Grizzlies Bear Blues live podcast. You can follow him on Twitter at Paca_Flocka. Parker Fleming joining us here on Sports 56 Mornings. Hey, Parker.
What's up, Greg? How's it going?
Going well, hopefully with you as well. Hey, before we talk Grizzlies, NBA Finals even at 1. How do you see it turning out? Who do you like the rest of the way?
You know, it's so even between those 2 teams. And as we've seen in the first 2 games, both teams are capable of going on their own little buzzsaw kind of runs. I still rock with Boston because they got the most to counter the Warriors in terms of their defense. You know, they got Marcus Smart, Defensive Player of the Year, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Al Horford. You know, I wish I could say that Robert Williams making an impact this series, but I mean, he's just kind of playing on one leg after coming back a little too early from a torn meniscus injury. But I still got Boston in 6, and I'm gonna be confident in that for this question.
All right, Boston 6.
That's what I had before the series. That's what I still believe as well. As we look ahead with the Grizzlies to the draft in particular, what do you think the chances are of the Grizzlies using all 3 of their picks?
I sway on it about every day. Now that's a little dramatic, but I do kind of lean where, like, okay, I can see them trading up, but the question is, like, are they going to use both 22 and 29, or are they just going to use 22 in a player?
Mm-hmm.
Because with 29, the Grizzlies really value those in the first-round contracts because that's the cheapest rookie scale deal. Those are the cheapest ones there are.
Yeah.
Desmond Bane was the 30th pick in 2020. So you're having Desmond Bane on like a 4-year, $7 million contract. That's amazing value for a guy like Desmond Bane. They got another small 4-year deal on Santi Aldama. So I'm like, do you think they're going to do that? Especially, you know, Jaren Jackson Jr.'s extension kicking in next season. And then the season after that, you'll have John Morant's Supermax extension more than likely. You'll have Desmond Bane's extension. So, I mean, stuff's going to get pretty expensive here soon. So why not go ahead and just try to keep adding contributors on cheap deals? But I think out of all the picks, though, I say they keep 47 for sure, because that will either be a draft and stash or that person is going to take Yves Ponce's 2-way spot.
Mm-hmm.
I think they'll keep 29 but they will not draft at 22. I think they'll either trade up into the teens or trade it outright.
Look, they've had a great run with these young players. They have done an amazing job in evaluating talent with the draft. And, if they decide to keep a couple of more young players, so be it. But I'm looking at why not trying to add a veteran player. You have all these young players. You have the great chemistry. Certainly, I don't want to rock the boat as far as that's concerned. But to get a veteran in there with the assets that you possibly have, do you see the Grizzlies possibly going down that avenue?
Yeah, I could see it, and I say it regularly. In my posts when it comes to like trade ups and stuff like that. Is I'm just kind of waiting for more tea leaves to come out on the trade market because we don't really have a whole lot right now. I know Bleacher Report's Jake Fisher reported about OG Anunoby, which would be a heist for the Memphis Grizzlies. I think a core of John Morant, Desmond Bain, Jaren Jackson Jr., and OG Anunoby, that's a championship core. But, Toronto should be asking for a high price on that. I know Fisher also reported that Gordon Hayward is ready to go to a team committed to winning, and Charlotte has the 13th and the 15th picks. So what could be had there? So I don't know. I'm just kind of waiting for more dominoes to drop on the trade market. But I wouldn't rule it out. I wouldn't rule out the Grizzlies going to get a veteran because, for the first offseason in this regime, there's expectation that they need to be operating as a championship contender. Mm-hmm. And a way to operate as a championship contender is going out and getting guys that can play at that level and have been at that level.
The big question, I guess, in free agency is the Tyus Jones question. What's your feeling on what happens with Tyus?
I will say that if a team is offering him the chance to start, I see him leaving. Whether it's Detroit or New York. Personally, my favorite non-Memphis fit for Tyus is Detroit. The opportunity to play alongside Kay Cunningham, another top 5 pick, Sadiq Bey, Marvin Bagley. I think Tyus Jones can make that team solid and help them take another step. But I think if there isn't a starting market for him, then I see him back in Memphis. He said that he said in the exit interview, he's comfortable here. He knows he has a good situation. Frankly, with John Morant's health, he's probably good to start for probably 15 games. I don't know how likely it is that John Morant plays 70-plus games going forward. But, especially with, load management and stuff, I can see the Grizzlies operating in that sort of fashion. Ty's got a good setup here, but, at the end of the day, everybody wants to start. I think people would lie if they say, they don't want to. But, Ty's, he's entering the prime of his career. This is probably his best chance to become a starter and also get a good payday. So I'm just going to see how it all shakes out because, like I said, there could be a lot of trade dominoes that drop to where, we enter June 30th and there isn't a starting point guard job available. I know trade names that get thrown out there: D'Angelo Russell, Malcolm Brogdon, Mike Conley, John Wall. There's guys that could be traded and they're starting jobs right there. So I'll just say that if there's a starting job ready for him, he's not going to be back.
Well, you mentioned a payday. What do you think an annual salary? What type of annual salary could he attract? Do you think on the open market?
I think if he's back in Memphis, he'll go some sort of mid-level exception where it's going to be more front-loaded, where he'll get most of his money when in John Morant's last year of his rookie scale. So next season will be when Tyus Jones makes his most. I do think, though, if he's a starting point guard somewhere, I think he'll probably get a 3-year, $36 million deal, so $12 million annually. I could see that.
And what's he making right now?
I want to say his last contract was a 3-year, $27 million contract.
So 9, and you think you can go up
about
probably,
9.
So you think you can go up probably about $3 million per and get a starting job? He's out the door.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I think.
What about Dylan Brooks? What's your feeling on what they will do with Dylan this offseason?
Man, it's tough because obviously people are going to use the Jonas Valanciunas example of like, oh, well, the Grizzlies traded Jonas Valanciunas to give more opportunity for Jaren Jackson and Desmond Bane. Look how it turned out. And obviously, Zaire's development kind of pushes that envelope a little further. But at the same time, I'm very, very concerned about the idea of possibly letting Dylan Brooks and Kyle Anderson, two of the team's best perimeter defenders, walk this summer. And your best solution to shoring up your perimeter defense is giving Zaire Williams more minutes. I think he has potential there. But, I mean, Dylan Brooks, when he's healthy, he's an all-defense caliber player. He takes on the tough assignments. You've seen in the playoffs, he can go from guarding guys like Stephen Curry to D'Angelo Russell to Karl Anthony Towns. There's not a lot of players with his defensive versatility. And, you know, I do think that if you're trading Dylan Brooks, you need an upgrade. And the question is, what upgrade is available out there? Like, I'm just kind of skeptical there about the idea of like, oh, they're going to trade up in the draft using Dylan Brooks, and they're going to draft their next defensive stopper. That's a big gamble to take. Yeah. And is that a gamble that you want to take when operating as a championship contender? I'm not so sure. And also, too, we're looking at the finals right now, and the Warriors with Draymond Green and the Boston Celtics with Marcus Smart. You kind of need that little crazy wild card. You know what I'm saying? You need that guy where it's like, okay, he just brings this crazy energy that's like borderline psycho. They're showing that you need that kind of guy complementing your core, or really in your core, if you're trying to go out there and win a title. And that's Dylan Brooks. And, you know, if he can get reined in where he's not taking 15, 20 shots a game, then I like the idea of bringing him back. But I mean, hey, he's entering a contract year. He wants to get paid. The Grizzlies are kind of at a crossroads where they're about to pay everyone. They have young guys that can develop.
Mm-hmm.
So what's going to happen next? I mean, I'm not too sure. I'm skeptical, but I mean, we've seen the Grizzlies do it before. I mean, they took on Steven Adams, who looked like a bad contract. He ended up being fine. You just got to trust what they're going to do. But, I mean, there are valid concerns about trading a guy of Dylan Brooks' caliber, both from a skill set standpoint and from an intangible standpoint.
Yeah, look, you're right on with that, and I'm kind of torn because I've always been a big fan of Dylan Brooks, and I love the attitude. I mean, the one thing about it is, though, if you did deal Dylan, Ja has that same attitude. Bane has that attitude, so you're not losing that, because if the core four, if the Grizzlies had traded Tony Allen, you lose that kind of attitude. Now Zebo had it as well, but I don't think you lose it so much. But Brooks does bring those intangibles. You use the exact word that I was thinking, intangibles. But he's got to realize who he is in the pecking order. When you have Bane who can score, and Jackson who can score, and Ja who obviously can score, and he does more of his thing of playing defense and, you know, once in a while taking it to the hole because he struggled from three-point land. If that's the case, then you don't break up the chemistry. And you're certainly not trading him to find somebody in the draft that could become him. So I don't believe in that. But if you can upgrade to a more consistent scorer who has that same defensive intensity, and it doesn't cost you an arm and a leg, then I think you make the move. You have the obligation to make yourself better, even if it does maybe right off the bat rough up chemistry a bit. I mean, standing pat is fine if you feel that you are a finished product. But if you feel you can improve, then you look to upgrade.
Yeah, I totally agree. I feel like we're kind of preaching the gospel here on Dylan Brooks. But, yeah, I mean, it's like you said, he's got to figure out where he is in the pecking order. But the problem is the idea of the pecking order has always been kind of messed up because he's had to be in a role bigger than what he's designed for.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, his rookie season was the one where it all kind of went off the rails, and Mike Conley only played 12 games, and then you were tanking pretty much. His third year, he had that big time year. It was Ja's rookie year, so he wasn't taking that step yet. In his fourth season, you had Jaren Jackson Jr. hurt for all but 11 games, so that's an opportunity for Dylan to be the second guy. And then it almost felt like every time Dylan played this year, Ja wasn't there. So, I mean, of course the guy's not going to have the best understanding of the pecking order because he's always been like that second option.
Mm-hmm.
And how are you going to tell a guy who's been important for your team, like, hey, you're not that high on the pecking order anymore, especially a guy that's as confident as Dylan Brooks.
It's a jolt of reality.
It's definitely, yeah, it's a tough it's a tough line to walk. But yeah, you don't just give him up. I would say that like the trade that Joe Molinax suggested, like Dylan Brooks, D'Anthony Melton, the 22nd pick, and that Warriors 24 pick for OG Anunoby, I think that would be a good trade, to be honest.
You'd like that one, Eli, right?
If you could get OG and Anunoby, yes, I would 100% be on board.
All right, so let me ask you this before we let you go. I know that the Grizzlies obviously have had players in to work out. That will continue. The draft's 2 weeks from Thursday. If they stick with the picks that they have right now, are there any guys that you're thinking that'll be available around that time that would make sense for the Grizzlies?
Yes. I will say with the 22nd pick, one of my favorites is Tari Eason at LSU. I think he's a big, versatile defender who could fly out in transition, get deflections, create defensive activity. If you kind of want more of an upside swing, I like Dalen Terry and Jaden Hardy Dalen Terry from Arizona, Jaden Hardy from the Ignite. Later, whether it's 29th pick or somewhere in the second round, I love Max Christie out of Michigan State. I would be cool with Kennedy Chandler. I mean, I'm not sold on drafting a backup point guard in the first round. I'd rather use that on a wing. But, I mean, he's the goods. I mean, I know Sean Coleman wrote a really good profile on him today for GBB. If they want Josh Monott too, why not? He's a big forward who can develop into something. So, yeah, I'm honestly to the point with the Grizzlies in their draft. I trust the front office evaluations, and I also trust the development in place with the coaching staff under Taylor Jenkins and his staff, where they're going to make the most out of the pick. We saw good evidence of that last year with Zaire Williams, who's a lot more ready than we all expected. So, yeah, I think I'm all good, but those are some names that I've seen out there that I would be pretty thrilled with.
He is Parker Fleming, site manager, SBN Grizzlies, and the host of the Grizzly Bear Blues live podcast. You can follow him on Twitter at Paca_Flocka. It's going to be fun, a lot of speculation for the next few weeks, and then we'll get the dose of reality 2 weeks from Thursday. Parker, as always, thank you so much. Have a great day.
Awesome. Thank you, Greg. You too.
Appreciate it.
You need a tough, reliable tractor to tackle those tough chores? Well, talk to the folks at Mid-South Ag Equipment because they have the Case IH Farmall Series tractors that are versatile performers, perfect for whatever it is you need to get done, and great values as well. So you could cut costs without cutting corners. They've had the Bush Hog equipment as well, including Bush Hog zero-turn lawnmowers right now at Mid-South Ag Equipment, located just south of Collierville on Goodman Road, online at midsouthag.com. That's the website. You can go check out the inventory, see what kind of deals they've got going on, and get all kinds of information before you go see them. But you need to go by and see them at the dealership. All kinds of equipment for you to choose from new to pre-owned. You can get service done on your current equipment as well at Mid-South Ag Equipment. Easy to get to. Take I-269 to the Goodman Road exit. They're a half mile west. Very easy to find, very easy to get to at Mid-South Ag Equipment.
Well, we're going to talk a little NBA mock draft when we return. And why is a former Tiger falling in the draft, at least the mock draft versions? We will discuss that when we return. Love to hear from you, your thoughts on what the Grizzlies should or should not do. Hit us up on the AutoZone listener lines by calling in or texting in at 901-360-8255 or message us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, right on the website at sports56whbq.com. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Be sure to follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises. I'm here with Kyle Storms from Big Green Egg. Kyle, I hear people all the time say how they love their Big Green Egg, but what makes a Big Green Egg so great?
Thanks, Stats. The fact that our grill is made out of the highest quality ceramic allows our customers to smoke, bake, roast, sear, and grill, all while locking in the most amount of heat and flavor in their favorite foods.
What kind of fuel does the Big Green Egg use?
100% natural lumpwood charcoal. That's really where half our flavor comes from.
How many sizes does the Big Green Egg come in?
We have 7 different sizes and all different configurations ranging from metal stands, wood tables, and metal carts with a lifetime warranty. So we really do have a size and price point for everyone.
Where can someone go to see the entire lineup of Big Green Egg?
Garden Spas and Pool, Germantown Hardware, Hamilton's Fireplace and Grills, East Memphis Ace, and Cordova Ace Hardware.
I don't know. Can you just pick something and order? Yeah, but anyway, where are you at? You don't...
It only takes 2 seconds of distracted driving to become a statistic. You can lose your driving privileges, your vehicle, face jail time, or even lose or take a life. Slow down, Memphis. The life you save may be your own. Brought to you by the Memphis Police Department, Traffic Operations.
I'm John Conway with Conway Services. Is your home's main sewer line backed up? Do you have multiple plumbing fixtures in your home backing up? Better call the Rooter experts at Conway Services for our $99 main drain opening special with accessible cleanout. We'll come out and open your home's main drain for only $99. And if it should clog again over the next year, we'll come back and open it again for free. We will inspect your main sewer line using our state-of-the-art Rooter Vision camera system, all for only $99. So call Conway Services, your neighborhood Rooter experts at 384-3511.
Now, back to Sports 56 Mornings.
Isn't it a lovely morning?
On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Got a text on the AutoZone listener line. It says the idea of moving someone on the roster is wrong. This team is young. Last season was the first run. Leave them alone, man. Well, I don't think you need to make drastic changes, but you can always tinker if you think it's. Listen, this front office has done a hell of a job. I'm gonna trust, and when you've got some expiring contracts that you could move now to get something for, if you don't believe maybe those pieces are part of your future, or if there's just somebody out there that you think makes you better, There's nothing wrong with making some additions and some subtractions to the roster. It was a really good year, no doubt. And this team is positioned in a good spot, but they have assets to make moves that could make them better.
You are absolutely right on. And I understand the texter's point of view, and they are absolutely right as well. You're not talking about an overhaul. This is a team that is one of the best in the league and projects to be one of the best in the league, not only this upcoming season, 2022-23, but for years to come with their young nucleus. And nobody is saying to overhaul what's going on, whereas with the Utah Jazz, there's talk about possibly overhauling that roster, which is full of very good players and a superstar in Donovan Mitchell. But with the Grizzlies, yes, you have to take advantage of situations when you have assets. If you can tinker a bit, like you said, and get better, then you do so. Now, there's no reason why you just stand pat and say you're a finished project, but you're not going to make a move just to make a move, or finished product, I should say. You're not just going to make a move, right, to trade something. You're going to only make a move if it benefits you, and that's why you have the confidence in this front office to decide that. Last summer, when I saw the trade for Steven Adams, I didn't get it at first. I didn't. I panned it. And then obviously I was proven wrong as the season progressed. The Zaire Williams pick at 10. I was like, really? That's who you're taking? Guy didn't even play that much in his 1 year at Stanford? That's who you're taking? And we saw the progression of Zaire Williams. So I have all the faith in the world in what that front office is doing. But again, to the texter, yeah, absolutely. You want to keep this nucleus together, and they will. But if there's a way to make it a little bit better with the assets you have, you take advantage of it.
And the thing, I mean, and Parker talked about it, I think, in his points were very valid as far as Dillon Brooks is concerned. I mean, one of the decisions they have to make is whether Dillon Brooks is a part of the nucleus for not just this coming season, but the future. Because, again, if you're not going to re-sign him after next year at whatever price tag he's going to want, and it's probably going to be pretty high, well, then you need to probably take advantage of getting something for him before he just walks away and you get nothing for him.
Exactly.
And what Park said, like, listen, there is a lot of he's a complicated player in trying to assess his, if you could, because he does defensively, he's by far your best defensive player on the perimeter. There's not even anybody close. And when you've got Ja, who's not a great defender by any means, is going to be out there. Having another guy alongside of him who could be that big-time perimeter defender is a key player. But yes, I mean, it's how much do you trust Zaire? Zaire in the summer league this year, how much does he develop? Where do they feel with him? Like, that is going to be a big question. There's a lot of things you have to consider if trying to decide what to do with Dillon Brooks. It is a very complicated thing. And again, yeah, I guess at this point you have to trust the front office to make the right decisions.
Everybody and their mom has a mock draft, so I'm not going to talk about all the mock drafts out there. We'd be here till midnight. But I pulled up one just at random. It's SI.com. And I go right to the Grizzlies' 22nd overall pick, right? Their first of 2 first-rounders. And a guy that Parker brought up that he liked, Jaden Hardy. This is the pick from Utah, who is a shooting guard for the G League Ignite. Says the Grizzlies have drafted well in recent years and should have some opportunity to be creative with their 2 picks in the 20s. Hardy would be an interesting upside play as a scoring guard who could potentially give them some juice off the bench behind Ja Morant and Desmond Bane. Hardy's stock fluctuated heavily this year, but he ended the season on a positive note, has a lot to offer on the offensive end, particularly if he's able to adjust his shot selection and become more efficient. He's a talented shot maker, has a good frame at his size, and should help that he's already been tested by the G League. Once projected as a lottery pick, Hardy becomes a nice value play in this range of the draft. By the way, another guy you mentioned, Tari Eason, they have Tari Eason going at 23, one spot lower to the 76ers. And then at the 29th spot, they have the Grizzlies taking Max Christie. He also brought up Max Christie's name. He's a guard forward from Michigan State. We know the pipeline between the Grizzlies and Michigan State. And then if I could find quickly, their second-round pick is number 47 overall. They got some dude I never heard of from Malaga. Where the hell's Malaga? Malaga. Some guy named Yannick Zosa. So anyway, that's what they have with the Grizzlies if they retain all 3 picks.
That would probably be a draft and stash.
Yeah, that's a draft. And again, Parker was right on with that. He talked about the second rounder keeping and having a draft and stash. I don't know if they keep all 3 picks when it's all said and done. But, boy, you can't argue with the success rate they've had with young players.
I think his point, too, on the 29th pick and how they value those end of the first-round picks, certainly we see that with what they've done, not just with Desmond Bain, but the fact that they traded up to number 30 to take Santi Aldama. I mean, they certainly value getting that extra control of a guy with a first-round contract at the cheapest rate you can get them.
Exactly. All right, that'll do it for hour number 2. When we come back, hour 3, we got a lot to get into. I told you we talk a little bit about the Phil Mickelson situation. We'll get into that right off the bat. Also want to talk some NFL, some quarterback conversation when we come back for hour 3. If you'd like to be a part of the program, hit us up on the AutoZone listener lines by calling in or texting in at 901-360-8255. Get in the zone, AutoZone. And if you missed it earlier, 5 favorite things tomorrow, our topic for this week, your 5 favorite Tom Cruise movies in honor of this new Maverick movie, which is sweeping the nation, as they say. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Let's talk savings, Mid-South. Colin Johnston here from DeSoto Auto Sales. I want to go camping, but I can't till I sell more cars. So this month, my sticky situation could be your sweet solution. You could save a ton on a nicer, newer car. The more you spend, the more you save. Been burned by credit before? My For the People credit approval process is sweeter than chocolate. We want to help you drive a nicer, newer car today. So if you want to be a happy camper, stop burning up in a car you hate. Truck on down to DeSoto Auto Sales today. But hurry, this deal's done once I finally go camping. I'm Colin Johnston, your dealer for the people. New cars are arriving daily. See them all at DeSotoAutoSales.com. That's DeSotoAutoSales.com.
Credit requires bank approval. Negative equity may be refinanced. Vehicle purchase price determines actual discount. Offer absolutely expires on June 30th, 2022.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
You're the one who protects the flock, and that requires an eye for detail. Because when safety and well-being are on the line, it's the details that can save lives. Even when no one else is watching, you see everything. Grainger gets you, and we're here for you, and all the ones who get it done with a wide range of safety products and solutions, plus board-certified safety consultants here to answer your questions. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Oh, yeah.
Sports 56 Traffic.
No new accidents, no delays to report, no other accidents. We just got a stalled vehicle on the I-40 East at the Hernando de Soto Bridge that's heading west. That's I-40 East at the Hernando de Soto Bridge heading west. But no accidents or delays to report. Keep it right here. This is your Sports 56 traffic update.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Don't you just love it?
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everybody. 9:02 the time, 79 degrees. It'll get up to about 84, 85 today. Partly cloudy, but the rain is in the forecast for later this afternoon and early this evening. Not a slam dunk 100% chance, but a good chance. And there could be some thunder boomers in your neighborhood, so be careful as far as that's concerned. High humidity as well, so another one of those sweltering days. We're in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Their vacation at home sale continues. You got Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, and Zach Boyd. If you'd like to be a part of the program, hit us up on the AutoZone listener lines by calling in or texting in at 901-360-8255. Get in the zone. AutoZone. You can also message us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, on the website, sports56whbq.com. Few headlines in case you missed it from earlier. D'Angelo Williams is on the ballot for the College Football Hall of Fame class of 2023. Calvin Austin III has signed his first NFL contract. Signs, of course, with the team that drafted him, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Aaron Donald has become the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL. He now has a 3-year deal worth $95 million over 3 years. Colorado Avalanche beat the Edmonton Oilers 6-5 to win the Series 4-0, win the Western Conference of the Stanley Cup playoffs, and now they will face either the Rangers or the Tampa Bay Lightning in the Stanley Cup finals. And Eduardo Escobar of the Mets, late last night on the West Coast, hit for the cycle with a 2-run triple in the ninth to give the Mets the win 11-5. And if you missed it, Ole Miss, Arkansas have joined Tennessee, Auburn also in, and Texas A&M, 5 SEC schools in the final 16 as the Super Regionals will take place this weekend. Ole Miss, a best-of-3 in Hattiesburg against Southern Miss.
Yes, and the schedules have been announced now for the Super Regionals. They were doing that at 9 o'clock this morning. Ole Miss and Southern Miss will play the first game Saturday afternoon, 3 o'clock Central Time will be game 1. Sunday at 3 o'clock will be game 2. And then, of course, game 3 will be Monday if necessary. No game time announced for the Monday game if it is needed. Arkansas against North Carolina at Chapel Hill. They will play Saturday morning, 10 o'clock Central Time for their first game. Sunday at noon will be game 2. And no time for Monday if necessary. And Tennessee hosting Notre Dame in Knoxville. They will get underway Friday night. That'll be a 5 o'clock Central Time. Saturday will be 1 o'clock Central Time. And then Sunday will be game 3 if necessary, and no time on that one. So that's some of the, as far as the schedules now out for the Super Regionals. Ole Miss and Arkansas getting underway on Saturday, and it will be Tennessee getting underway on Friday night.
So yesterday we were over at TPC Southwind for the AutoZone Liberty Bowl Golf Classic, and we were talking to a bunch of different people, and we were talking some NBA draft. We ended hour 2 just moments ago talking NBA draft and the mock drafts that are out there, what the Grizzlies may do. But the former Memphis Tiger, Jalen Duren, who helped lead the team back to the NCAA tournament after the long hiatus, is an interesting player, to say the least, because he has gone from anywhere, if you've looked over the last 3-4 months at the mock drafts, from number 5, number 6 overall, to out of the lottery. So not even a top 14 pick, a middle teens, late teens pick. I don't see the consensus here because I can't observe all these mock drafts and It would take me hours to do so. So many out there. But I've seen 12. I've seen 13. I've seen 9. I've seen 8. I don't know if really the NBA personnel, or at least the people putting together these drafts who have pretty good intel and insight, have a good grasp on what Jalen Duren is going to be at the next level.
Yeah, I mean, again, in the modern NBA, he showed the ability to step out and knock down a jumper, but not to 3-point range. That will be questions of what his offensive game is away from the basket. Certainly defensively, shot blocking, stuff like that. He has the athleticism, he has length, he has strength. There's a lot to like about it, but I think the biggest question will be on the offensive end and what exactly he is and what he can be as he continues to develop, considering he's still very, very young. But I still believe I will be really surprised if he is not a lottery pick. I still think he'll end up going in the top 10.
Do you think he'll have a better career than Josh Minott, or Minott will have a better NBA career than him?
If I was betting today, I would bet on Duren, but I wouldn't. I mean, I wouldn't. Again, Minott has a lot of room to develop, and we didn't get to see a whole lot of Minott. But so would it surprise me if Minott ended up having a better career? No, but I think if I was betting today, I would bet on Duren.
Do you think Lester Quinones will play a regular season NBA game in his career?
I could see him getting a two-way deal possibly, and so getting an opportunity to play in a game or two as a two-way guy.
Okay. Phil Mickelson. Phil Mickelson has been added to the first LIV event, which is that Saudi backed tour with all the gobs and gobs of money. Phil will be competing in this event just outside of London, which will begin on Thursday. He is a 6-time major champion on the PGA Tour. He says he still plans to play in this year's U.S. Open and all the majors. His statement yesterday on social media, I'll read some of it. First and foremost, I want to again apologize to the many people I offended and hurt with my comments a few months ago. I have made mistakes in my career in some of the things I have said and done. Taking time away and self-reflecting has been very humbling. I needed to start prioritizing the people that I love the most and work on becoming a better version of myself. I have spent this time with Amy and loved ones. I have been engaged and intentional in continued therapy and feel healthy and much more at peace. I realize I still have a long way to go, but I am embracing the work ahead. I am ready to come back to play the game I love, but after 32 years, this new path is a fresh start, one that is exciting for me at this stage of my career and is clearly transformative, not just for myself, but ideally for the game and my peers. On and on and on and on he goes. There's a rumor out there, not unsubstantiated, that Phil is getting $200 million to participate. $200 million. Now, Dustin Johnson, didn't we say it was like 150, 125?
100, 125.
Do you believe that's possible?
Yes. I mean, if they
51-year-old, soon to be 52-year-old golfer.
Well, if they offer Tiger, and granted Tiger is different than Phil. Tiger's, if they offered him nearly $1 billion, I think Phil's probably worth $200 million to him.
If reports are true. If they're
that's from Greg Norman. Greg Norman said it.
Greg Norman said that?
Yes. Yeah. Said they offered him a high 9-figure number.
Oh my gosh.
So if you're offering him, who can barely walk, at a high 9 figures, Phil would certainly be worth $200 million to him.
I would think so. I would think at least 1/5 of Tiger, right? I mean, certainly Phil Mickelson and his credentials. But again, Phil Mickelson is a guy who's now eligible and has played on PGA Champions Tour events. So I don't know how much cachet he has. But for this tour, this fledgling tour, to make any hay as far as the competition with the PGA Tour, they have to have some names. And getting Phil Mickelson is a name. Getting Dustin Johnson is not only a name, but a guy who is currently capable of winning any of the majors. The other guys are more European-type names who have had success on the PGA Tour as well. You weren't going to get Tiger Woods. They tried to get Jack Nicklaus. In fact, Greg Norman called Jack Nicklaus a hypocrite.
That's Greg. They're probably going to get Ricky Fowler. It looks like that he is probably going to be the next one. And we'll see if that does indeed happen. But a lot of reports out there is that he is going to be going.
Well, doesn't that make sense, though? Let's think about it. Ricky Fowler can't win on the PGA Tour. He hasn't won a major. His biggest sponsor is Puma. Puma's an international company, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, this makes a lot of sense for Ricky Fowler. What bridge is he burning?
Well, I don't know that Puma will stay with him. I would think Rocket Mortgage drops him immediately.
Rocket Mortgage does. Puma stays with him. Puma's international.
It doesn't matter whether these companies don't want to be associated with. It's not about being international companies. It's about being associated with the Saudi-backed tour. That's what these companies don't want.
I bet there are other events in the sports world that have been backed by the Saudis and that money over there in the Middle East that have had great sponsorship. I'm not sure. I can't tell you for certain it's Puma, but I guarantee you they've gotten their share of sponsorship. I mean, unless they're making their money out of sand over there. I mean, they're getting some kind of TV rights and network rights and sponsorships to be able to back all these events that they have that pay this type of money. I mean, this is funny money. This is monopoly money.
Do you know what the Saudi Public Investment Fund, how much it is?
I know.
What is it?
Well, I don't know the exact number,
it's
but I know we're talking
$600 billion.
Okay.
But they don't care. They don't. It doesn't matter. They don't have a TV content. These events are being shown on YouTube. Like they're not getting any of this money back. Like this investment is not coming back to them. They're doing it just. They have $600 billion in their public investment fund.
Jeez.
Like they don't care. But it's part of it is trying to help their image or whatever. But it's that there's not like they're not doing this as an investment, thinking, oh, we're going to get all this back.
Right. No, I understand that. I didn't know they had that type of money though. I mean, I knew they had a lot of money.
They have an endless amount of money. They couldn't spend it. You get $600 billion.
So what do you think? You think this is all for PR to change the perception of who they are?
I don't know.
Through golf?
I don't know for sure exactly what the Saudi people is like. Why they're doing this? What their reasoning is? I'm sure part of it is to try and do PR, help with it. I don't know. But it's again the amount of money is never going to be an object to them. It doesn't matter to them. Dustin Johnson, by the way, did officially today announced that he resigned his spot on the PGA Tour. So he is officially done with the PGA Tour, which was obviously going to be the case regardless. But one of the things, too, and I didn't even really thought about this, but that means no Ryder Cup, no President's Cup. So Dustin Johnson no longer will be representing the USA in those events. You could look at some of these other guys, mostly as far as the American side goes. There anybody that, but I would assume this definitely means Phil will never be, captain, all that stuff as far as the Ryder Cup is concerned, those types of things. They are both captains of the team because that's the thing with this tour. There's a team aspect to the tournaments as well. And they announced today all the captains and the team names for the tour.
Really?
Yes. Dustin will be the captain of 4 aces.
So is it team play or individual play?
It's both.
Okay.
Graham McDowell is the captain of the Nibliks. Ian Poulter is the captain of the Majestics. Kevin Na is the captain of the Ironheads. Louis Oosthuizen is the captain of Stinger. Martin Keimer, the captain of Cliques. Peter Uihlein is the captain of Crushers. Phil Mickelson is the captain of High Flyers. Sergio Garcia, captain of Fireballs.
How many captains do they have?
Siwon Kim, captain of Smash. Taylor Gooch, captain of Torque. And Wade Ormsby is the captain of Punch.
The Wade Ormsby?
Yes.
The Wade Ormsby's playing on this tour. So they have like more captains than they do have guys entered for the damn tournament. I mean, that's
no, it's 12. It's a 4-man team.
I'm being sarcastic,
They're
but
4-man teams. There's 12 captains, 48 guys. They all have a 4-man team. It's the first 2 days. I think your 2 best scores count. I think the third day, your 3 best scores count, something like that, for the team portion of the event.
So you're really into this thing. Phil's already in the Hall of Fame.
I'm not into it. I've just read up on it, so I'd have some knowledge of it.
Phil's already in the Hall of Fame, correct?
He's already met the requirements.
Has he actually in?
I don't know.
Can you look that up, Zach? If Phil's already in.
I don't know if he's in already, but
could that hurt his status or not? If you're qualified, you're qualified, even though
I don't think they could. I would assume the Hall of Fame. I mean, it's a qualification thing. If you have done this, this, and this, you're in. So I don't think that it would matter.
How far away was Dustin?
I don't know. I'd have to look up the exact qualification. I don't remember what the Hall of Fame qualifications are.
But this is going to affect Dustin Johnson and his not only his legacy, but as whether or not he's a Hall of Famer. I mean, right now you would look at Dustin Johnson and go, that guy will end his career. He's a Hall of Famer. But I wonder how this affects him.
I don't think Dustin cares.
No, he probably doesn't. But again,
Dustin's cashing a massive check. And Dustin will be done with. We don't know how long the agreement is with the $100 million, $125 million. How long that requires him to be a part of this tour. But Dustin will be done with golf at an early age.
Well, you believe he will. He's never said that, but I think you're right. But we don't know for sure. Now, what about the golfers on the PGA Tour that decided not to entertain those offers? Do you believe they're doing so because they have an issue with the Saudis and what they stand for and the political part of it, or do you think it's just they feel this is the best tour, gives us the best chance to win prestigious tournaments, even though they can play in the majors, even if they're playing on the LIV Tour, because it has no connection to the PGA Tour?
I think a lot of it is Saudi, and others are doing it. They want to play against the best players week in and week out. Like, they don't want to just go for the money. They're in golf for the competition of playing golf. And they're still going to they know they're still going to make a bunch of money doing it.
Right.
But they would rather play against the best fields, the best golfers week in and week out, rather than just go for a money grab.
Mm-hmm. Are you going to watch? Oh, you said it's on YouTube, right?
Yeah. I mean,
I'm surprised they didn't get no network, no European.
Nobody wants to be associated with it.
Wow. You would think that somebody would.
Most of the networks already have an agreement with the PGA Tour, so they're not touching it.
Well, what about the
you could go with Fox, If they
no, I'm not talking about American.
They don't want to. They're not going to. I mean, these things just don't want to be associated with it.
What's the one over in Europe? The big sports network.
Sky Sports.
Sky Sports. So Sky Sports has already said they don't want any affiliation with this?
I have not I have no idea what Sky Sports is doing. I know to watch it in America, you have to watch it on YouTube or on the LIV website.
Okay.
So Phil did make the Hall of Fame.
Did?
Yeah, he did.
He's already in?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. All right.
What are the qualifications for the Hall of Fame? Because I don't think Dustin would be there yet, but he's probably.
Isn't it like 20 wins?
I mean, he might have the win. I don't know. I can't remember what the major portion of it is. I can't remember exactly how it works as far as that goes. But Dustin's probably fairly close. But he might even already be there. But yeah, it's so. Dustin done with the PGA Tour. At least for now. I guess theoretically they could all come back asking for forgiveness later on once their deal's done with the LIV Tour.
I just have a feeling that. Well, I don't know about these other guys. These other guys are older, the Lee Westwoods of the world, the Ian Poulters of the world. DJ's not a kid anymore, but I still think DJ, if they had a chance to rectify the situation, if he didn't like what was going on over on that tour, that they would welcome him back. I just think he's too big of a draw. Even though there are a lot of big draws on the PGA Tour. And that's the great thing about golf is that there's always the next guy, the next big name, whoever it may be.
One of the great things, Kevin Na has some there's some people out there like Grayson Murray, who's had his run-ins with Kevin Na. And, of course, Kevin Na yesterday announcing that he's resigning his spot on the PGA Tour. Grayson Murray with the response on Twitter. Like I said on the range in Mexico, you won't be missed. Our PGA Tour rounds just got 20 minutes faster.
Although
I
don't know this for a fact, but I would think that Kevin Na had more success than Grayson Murray on tour.
He has, but
yeah, I know. But
stop Kevin Na.
Who gets the last laugh? Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I'm laughing all the way to my bank.
So the qualifications to get into the Hall of Fame. So the player must accumulate a total of 15 or more official victories.
So Dustin has that.
Or at least 2 victories from the 4 major events.
He's got how many majors?
Or it was an or, not an and?
Or.
All you have to do is win 2 majors and you're in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, and then you have to be at least 50 years old. They raised the age requirement to 50.
So he is qualified as far as the wins go because he's got over 15 wins.
He's got only 1 major? DJ?
No, he's got 2, and he's got 2 majors.
Yeah,
he's got both because he's got the Masters and the U.S. Open.
So I thought it was 20 wins. I think at one point it was 20 wins. So it's 15 wins or 2 majors. Interesting. So that means John Daly's qualified for the Hall of Fame. Does John Daly have 15? He doesn't have 15 overall wins, does he? I mean, I'm not talking about like Champions Tour stuff, and I'm not sure how many he's won there.
I can't imagine.
He has 19.
Who? John Daly?
Yeah, John Daly.
That's got to include some other stuff, though. That's got to include how many PGA, and they're just talking PGA Tour. They're not talking like Korn Ferry and Champions all together, right? They're talking 15 PGA Tour or majors, things of that nature, right? Maybe they're talking also like European Tour. I can't imagine. John Daly got that many wins on the regular
He's
tour?
He's got 5 PGA Tour wins.
Yeah. So, but he's qualified because he has 2 majors. If that's the case, to be in the now, you're qualified. Are you automatically in? Or they still got to vote you in?
I think you still got to be voted in.
So you qualified, then they still look at your credentials and they go whether or not it merits you put you in the Hall of Fame. That's interesting. You qualify, and then they still may count you out because John Daly's straight arrow guy. He's straight as an arrow. I mean, there's nothing else. Why would you even consider anything off the course with J-Day, man? He won his 2 majors. Put him in the Hall of Fame, for goodness sakes. Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration for all your roofing and home repair needs. Call Brandon McCullough at 901-438-5084 or go online to newroofmemphis.com. They offer financing with many different plans and options to choose from, including a 6, 12, or 18-month same-as-cash option, whatever suits your budget. They will work with your insurance company. They'll work out of pocket, whatever it takes. They're part of the Roofs for Troops program. Any veteran, active, or retired, you get a $250 rebate on the purchase of a new roof. They do residential and commercial roofing. So business owners and property managers, if you have a leak or any other roofing problem, call Brandon today. They'll come out and do a free roof inspection. They're licensed, bonded, and insured, and a member of the Better Business Bureau. Again, this is a locally owned and operated company. You get a 5-year labor warranty on the purchase of a new roof, and all their work is satisfaction guaranteed. They do carpentry work, exterior painting. They can replace gutters, put up fencing and siding. They can install shingles, rotten wood repair, whatever you can't do yourself. Call the experts at Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration. Quality work at a very good price. Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration for all your roofing and home repair needs. Call Brandon McCullough at 901-438-5084. Tell him you heard it here on Sports 56 Mornings. Tell him Gaston sent you. Or go online to newroofmemphis.com.
The age is 45. They brought it down to 40. Because I was wondering how Tiger, when you said it went up to 50, I was like, how the hell did Tiger get in already? But it's 45 now. In 2020, they brought it from 50 down to 45.
But everything else is correct? 15 wins? Yeah. And it's not 15
I was like, well, Tiger just went in. I was like, how did Tiger couldn't have got in if the age is still at 50? So, but it went down to 45 in 2020.
But it's 15 wins sanctioned by like PGA.
PGA Tour wins.
Yeah, that's what I thought. 15.
Official PGA Tour wins.
Right. So, but an international guy couldn't win 15 times on the European Tour and get in? It's got to be PGA? Or is that PGA Tour sanctions the European Tour? Is there a connection there?
I mean, the European Tour might count. I don't know.
Yeah, I would think that would count. But like Korn Ferry and some of those other smaller tours.
Yeah, the European Tour, the Japan Golf Tour, the Sunshine Tour, the Asian Tour, and the PGA Tour of Australasia.
Okay.
Or approved tours.
There you go. All right, we'll take a timeout, come back in our final half hour. We got some NFL news to get into. You're listening to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Let former Memphis Tiger Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy take you home every afternoon with Sports Time on Sports 56. Weekdays from 3 to 6 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Getaway Sports Bar, the best kept secret in town, open noon to 1:30 a.m. 7 days a week. Garvin, the owner, created this SEC NFL Dream Bar over 20 years ago. You'll never miss a minute of action. 10 TVs, 5 70-inch TVs for all the big games. Rack them up on 6 pool tables. Coldest beer in town, grab you a pool stick and get you some good bar grub. 100% Angus burgers, big and moist chicken tenders. Daily happy hour Monday through Friday, 2 to 6 p.m. with long neck domestics, $2.25. Getaway Sports Bar, 4632 Winchester.
Here's a question for you. Why is it that some people aren't as stressed out about the future as you'd think they'd be? Answer: they're probably among the millions of Americans who have prepared themselves with emergency food storage from My Patriot Supply. If the worst ever happens, literally millions of American families are already protected from dealing with empty store shelves. Is yours? If not, go to MyPatriotSupply.com right now and grab some emergency food kits, at least one for each member of your family. These kits give you a wide variety of delicious meals that average over 2,000 calories per day. Everything stays fresh for up to 25 years in storage. Order your kits now by going to MyPatriotSupply.com. Your order will ship fast and arrive discreetly in unmarked boxes. Listen, this is something you need to jump on now, before the next news headline stuns the world. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com. MyPatriotSupply.com.
Something you probably do know. Progressive can not only offer you a great price when you bundle home and auto, they offer you round-the-clock protection. Something you probably don't know, the average garage door is made up of 1.3 millimeter aluminum panels. Something you probably do know, your neighbor likes to tinker with his dirt bike. Something you probably don't know, a runaway dirt bike can take out your garage door and a good portion of your car bumper. Bundle your home and auto with Progressive and get more than a great price. Get round-the-clock protection. Something you know for the things you don't know. Coverage from Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers and subject to policy terms. Bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
13 platinum records. Over 65 million albums sold worldwide. This is Poison. Brett, Bobby, Cece, Ricky. The original lineup returns. Sunday, July 3rd. Center stage at Silver Star Casino. Tickets on sale now. Visit PearlRiverResort.com. Don't miss the party of the year. Poison World Tour 2022.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
To reveal the full spectrum of its dazzling color.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everybody. 9:30 the time. Final half hour for us today here on this Tuesday edition of Sports 56 Mornings. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, and Zach Boyd. Tomorrow on the program, DeMichael Cole will join us from the Commercial Appeal. So we'll talk some Grizzlies and NBA Finals. Again, 5 favorite things tomorrow. Your 5 favorite Tom Cruise movies. Your 5 favorite Tom Cruise movies. All right, so I want to have a little fun with the NFL and quarterbacks. So I'm going to go down the list, Eli, at the projected starting quarterbacks this season in the NFL. I'm going to ask you, how many Super Bowls will that quarterback win? I'm going to kind of get to see where we stand over the course of the next 10, 15 years and how many they add up to in the National Football League. Obviously, there will be rookies coming in next year, the year after that, and so on and so forth. But these are just of the players that are projected to be starters this year. And I'll get my little trusty pen out here and add it all up. All right. Josh Allen. How many, if any, Super Bowls does Josh Allen win?
1.
He wins the Super Bowl. Okay, not counting what they've done in the past. Patrick Mahomes.
1 more.
1 more. Okay, so we got 2 Super Bowl winners already. Aaron Rodgers.
0.
Joe Burrow.
1.
Okay, we're up to 3. Tom Brady.
0.
So nothing for Brady, nothing for Rodgers. Justin Herbert.
0.
0. Deshaun Watson.
0.
Kyler Murray.
0.
Dak Prescott.
0.
Russell Wilson.
0.
Okay. Lamar Jackson.
0.
Matthew Stafford.
That'd be good again next year. They have a chance next year, but I'll say 0.
0 for Stafford, okay. Ryan Tannehill.
0.
Matt Ryan.
0.
Derek Carr.
0.
Trey Lance.
0.
Kirk Cousins.
0.
If I had said Jimmy Garoppolo, would you have said anything
0.
different? Okay. Jared Goff.
0.
Carson Wentz.
0.
Jalen Hurts.
0.
Justin Fields.
0.
Wow. Tua Tagovailoa.
0.
Trevor Lawrence.
0.
Mac Jones.
0.
Drew Lock.
0.
Geno Smith. Could win the job. Jameis Winston.
0.
Daniel Jones.
0.
Steelers could be, let's go.
0.
Ben Roethlisberger out of retirement. Davis Mills.
0.
Marcus Mariota.
0.
Could be Desmond Ridder, which would be a 0 probably. Sam Darnold.
0.
How about if it's
0.
Yeah. Who was I going to say?
I don't know.
The old Miss
Matt Corral.
Yeah, Matt Corral. Thank you. Zach Wilson.
0.
Okay, that's all the teams. So you only have, out of all the current crop of starting quarterbacks, 32 starting quarterbacks, 3 Super Bowls. So is the presumption then that for the next 10, 15 years, all these Super Bowls that are going to be won by guys that have not even gotten into the league yet or are backups and not projected to be starters this year, which I can't even imagine who that could be.
No, it's just an impossible exercise.
Oh, I know. I'm not going to hold you to it.
Trying to guess who's going to win.
I'm not going to hold you to it, obviously, but you had 3 individuals all winning 1.
I'm going to guess I won't go 100% in my guesses.
I know. Just have fun. Relax a little bit. Have some fun with this thing. So now that we look at the thing now, you got only 3 Super Bowl championships of all the guys that are starting right now. It's impossible. There's got to be other Super Bowl winners. So why do you think Rodgers and Brady are not going to win another one?
Well, Brady, I mean, he's just old. And I think
still good.
He is, but I don't think he's going to keep getting better. So Rodgers certainly has a chance. But without Devontae Adams, now they didn't get better.
No, and he's failed a lot, let's be honest,
so
in championship games.
And I don't know how much longer he's going to be able to play at that level. So I just don't expect him. I mean, the chances are that, the group of Burrow, Josh Allen, Herbert, that group, Mahomes, they're probably going to be the ones you would think winning. I think Stafford certainly will have a chance this coming year. I mean, the Rams are going to be really good once again, so he could certainly.
Do you want to add him
over the next couple of years? Get one.
Do you want to add Stafford to win one more?
Sure, why not?
Is Stafford a Hall of Famer right now? He is, right?
Yeah, I think with the Super Bowl title, he'll probably put himself into that. I mean, he's got some pretty big numbers.
Win 2. You win 2 Super Bowls. You put yourself into a higher level. You're not Brady level. You're not Peyton, but you're certainly up into that higher stratosphere. So you got 4, and what other teams out there in the next 10 years that things can change, obviously with free agency, trades, and drafting. But you said you didn't think Herbert would win, so you don't think the Chargers are going to have a good enough team to win it?
No, I mean right now, it's hard, and And again, my belief is that once the quarterbacks start getting paid, you're not winning with them. So for the most part, that's why I don't think Mahomes is going to win much anymore. I mean, I give up one. I mean, when you're making $500 million, you're just going to lose so many players around you. We already see it with these receivers that these guys, from Tyreek Hill to Devontae Adams and everything else. And that's why Dak, I don't believe, will ever win one. I mean, once you're getting $40 to $50 million a year, you're just going to lose players around you. It's easier to win with a guy on a rookie contract.
Unless they take the big haircut like Brady would take every.
But none of the guys
year.
today are doing that.
But they may. But if they had an opportunity, if they had a chance, they might do it. You don't think
they all have a chance?
Well,
and none of them have done it.
They may not. Who's had the team to win a Super Bowl?
Patrick Mahomes didn't have to take $500 million.
Yeah, but they won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, but he could have kept that team together for a long time.
I have a Dak.
That's what I just said. They're not going to win. He could have taken less, but he didn't.
But there's got to be more than Brady. You got to look at the Brady model moving forward and going, you know what? Hey, I'm making enough money here where I could take a little bit less and bring in a player or two. You think they're all greedy?
It's greed and it's status. It's to say I'm now the highest paid quarterback, and then the next guy's the highest paid quarterback, and the next guy's the highest paid quarterback. But it's all. I mean, we're talking about in this the golf. Dustin Johnson's already made over $100 million in his life. Well, what's he do? He takes the $100 million check because it's a $100 million check. They all want more money. Like, they don't care how much money they've made. They're all, give me the most money I could possibly get.
What about you? You said no real quick to Russell Wilson. You don't buy into Denver being that strong a team this year. I mean, people keep saying it's a Super Bowl team. I'm not sure they are.
Not in that division. Now, they're going to be lucky to. I mean, it'll be tough to make the playoffs in that division.
Our buddy John Varlas texts us, does Eli think a giant asteroid is going to wipe out the planet? And there will be only 3 more Super Bowls.
But again, you could make the case again that I believe it's easier to win a guys on rookie contracts. So the next groups of guys coming in will be the ones that win the Super Bowls.
Well, I'm not disputing that. I understand what you're saying. The greed, the salary, the high-dollared quarterbacks who are not willing to take that shave, they're not going to be able to have the players next to them to be able to produce a Super Bowl winning team. But
I would say yes to Trevor Lawrence, possibly if he was on a different franchise, but he's not going to win in Jacksonville. Now, he might get out of Jacksonville and go win elsewhere, and he very well could force his way out of Jacksonville, and that happens. But with him being in Jacksonville right now, I don't know that's going to happen. Jacksonville's not winning a Super Bowl.
Well, that's the guy I was going to bring up, but you're absolutely right with Jacksonville. But Trevor Lawrence, I mean, you would think that he has all the tools in the world, and then you look at these other guys, these young players, they're always going to come in and get drafted by crappy teams that had bad seasons. They're not going to be drafted more than likely, unless they're 5th, 6th, 7th round, by better teams. So you're going to get, Kenny Pickett got picked by the Steelers, though. Steelers had an off year. The Steelers don't seem like they'll be down for that long because there's the Steelers. They're a great organization. But is Kenny Pickett the kind of guy that 3 years down the road can win a Super Bowl? And you look at Justin Fields, Chicago. Trey Lance will get his opportunity more than likely in San Francisco. I don't know if Jordan Love will ever get his opportunity in Green Bay. Some of these young quarterbacks, I don't know if they're good enough to lead teams to Super Bowls. I don't think Jalen Hurts is good enough. I don't think Kyler Murray is good enough. They're good enough to win some games and get into the playoffs. I don't know if they're good enough to win Super Bowls. But then again, you never know what the fortune of a team may be with a trade. You had the big trade with the Rams and the Lions. Lions are still the Lions, never making the playoffs. The Rams went from a good team to a Super Bowl winning team because they made that deal. So maybe there's quarterbacks out there you can trade and put in a better position to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's either you have a really good coach or you have a really good quarterback. And the offset kind of both of those, it's like you got to draft well. And so if you have a high price QB and you can draft really well, like, yeah, you can like restock your talent a little bit quicker because you obviously invest in your guy, even though Eli is not against paying high price quarterbacks. But if you're hitting on your draft, on your draft picks, I mean, you're still restocking talent. It's just going to take you like 1 or 2 years until that talent kind of phase right in to where you have your Super Bowl window.
Yeah, but you can have a great coach and a great quarterback. New England did it for years with Belichick and Brady. Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson winning a Super Bowl in Seattle. I don't think that's impossible to have a great coach and a great quarterback.
Well, no, I mean, obviously
that's what you just said, right?
You said you either have to have one of the two.
Yeah, one or the two.
I
I'm not saying
misunderstood
you can't
you.
have them.
I misunderstood you. Well, a great coach can only go so far. You have to have the great players. I would say it's the great quarterback way more than the great coach. But, I mean, again, somebody's winning these Super Bowls. So unless there's some big blockbuster trade like the Rams were able to do to win a Super Bowl by picking up Matthew Stafford, I don't know. Like you said, Trevor Lawrence, I think, has the tools, but it's not going to happen in Jacksonville.
Acura of Memphis brings you this hour of the program each and every day. They're located on Ridgeway right there at 385, just around the corner from us here at Flynn Broadcasting. You could go by, see them, take a test drive on one of those beautiful Acura automobiles, maybe a new vehicle, maybe a pre-owned vehicle, maybe a certified pre-owned Acura. You could check them all out at Acura of Memphis or at AcuraofMemphis.com, where you can see the inventory, get all kinds of details, what they've got going on. You can even get trade-in value for your current vehicle online. You can chat with a representative on the website as well to get your questions answered. But better yet, just go see them in person at Acura of Memphis. Check out all of the beautiful automobiles they have on the lot for you. Get right there on Ridgeway at 385 and online at AcuraofMemphis.com.
You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You have opinions?
Yes.
Of course you do. Everyone does. Hit us up on the AutoZone listener line, 360-8255. 360-8255.
It's a hot summer's day. You just finished cutting the lawn. Maybe you're getting off the golf course. You need something to refresh you. I've got just what the doctor ordered. In fact, it's called Poppy's Pills. Poppy's Pilsner. That's the best, and it comes from Grind City Brewing. It's light, crisp. It is that refreshing Pilsner. They say it's ultra crushable. Remember how Taco Bell stopped selling the Mexican pizza? Everybody lost their minds? Poppy Pilsner is the only thing that can ease that broken heart. Now, that came from an eyewitness named Sarah. Some people say it's sexy. It's light, it's refreshing, it's local. And for me, well, it just doesn't get any better than that. Ultra crushable, built for speed. It's available in 6-packs or 15-packs. You just ask your favorite retailer about it. Best enjoyed ice cold. It's what the doctor ordered. It's Poppy's Pills from Grind City.
How do you grow your business without spending more on credit card fees? Call Blake Jones, your local Mid-South Advanced Merchant Services representative. He works with your business to help it grow up to 3.9% instantly. Small business owners already have enough cost. Let Blake Jones help you lower your credit card processing cost risk-free. Absolutely no cost to you, the small business owner. Call 662-408-9324. That's 662-408-9324. Call Blake Jones today and start saving money tomorrow.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Now, back to Sports 56 Mornings.
Isn't it a lovely morning?
On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
According to John Rothstein, Duke's John Shire is hiring former Nike executive Rachel Baker as the program's general manager. Did not know they had a general manager position in college basketball.
Most don't, but a lot of them are going to continue to do this. I mean, you got it with the NIL stuff that's out there and everything else. I mean, you got to have people to do these things. And she's worked with Nike. She's worked with the NBA. She knows about marketing and do this stuff. I mean, that's a smart move.
Yeah, I mean, the days of just hiring a bunch of basketball people are over. I mean, you got to get an analytics person. You got to get a dude that's dealing with the portal, always up to date with what's going on with the portal. And obviously with name, image, likeness, that's extremely important to have somebody. You see a lot in professional sports, especially in the NBA, where they go out and they get analytics people. The Grizzlies had him for a long time. What's his name? John Hollinger.
The NBA, yeah, but the NBA now has so many. Everybody has. I mean, for lack of a better term, numbers nerds all over.
Numbers
the place.
nerds, right?
They're all over the place.
But baseball, you would think would have them too, right? Baseball would have the numbers nerd, the number nerds, right?
The analytics are a massive part of this stuff, and there are people that you have no idea, you've never seen or heard of working for these organizations that are crunching numbers on a daily basis.
Right. But with college basketball, I mean, that it becomes more important, the numbers, but we're talking about the numbers as far as NIL, not so much even the analytics of the actual game.
I mean, you got some of these staffs have a chief of staff and everything else. I mean, they're
director of player personnel.
They are creating positions. A lot of it at the Power Five, just because they got so much money to spend. Why not create some extra positions?
Oh, there's no question about it. I mean, they're throwing titles up, and sometimes that person doesn't even do what that title would indicate that they do. Major League Baseball. Last night, the Angels lost 1-0 to the Red Sox. The Angels, I don't know if you've noticed this, but they have lost 12 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Trout just came out of a 0 for 26 or 0 for 27 drought. But the Angels, 12 straight losses. Still just 2 games under 500. But if this continues to be a free fall, they're only a half game up now on Texas for second. They're only a game and a half up over Seattle for second place. Seattle's in fourth, right? A game behind Texas. I don't know. If Joe Madden, could they make a move?
You keep on losing. Losing 12 games in a row is not good for job security.
We know about Joe Girardi in Philadelphia, and they didn't have a 12-game losing streak. But the Angels, with all that hitting, all that money they doled out to those guys, 12 losses in a row.
We're talking about the golf with the LIV Tour. Mm-hmm. Yesterday was U.S. Open qualifying going on around the country. It's weird because we don't have one here now, so you knew about it when it was here every year, but now that it's not here, you don't even know when it's really going on.
Right.
But a pretty cool story that 57-year-old Fran Quinn qualified for the U.S. Open yesterday.
Wow.
Guy who's played, he was a journeyman tour player for a few years. He's played on the Korn Ferry Tour. He's played on the Asian Tour, got some wins there. But at 57 years, he and his son were both tried to qualify. His son was one shot off, I think, after the first round. He ended up struggling in his second round, so he did not qualify. But Franklin, 57 years old, qualifying for the U.S. Open. And Ricky Fowler couldn't qualify for the U.S. Open.
I wonder what kind of odds you can get for picking Fran Quinn to win the U.S. Open.
A whole lot to one. that is for sure. He's played. This will be his 4th Open, his first since 2014. He played in 92, 94, 96, and 2014, and now will play this year.
Fantastic.
He's played one other major. He played the British Open in 1994. He's made the cut twice at the U.S. Open. He finished 43rd in 94 and tied for 56th in 2014.
That's impressive.
So that's it's an unbelievable 57 years. Again, he was a journey, barely. I mean, he had his tour card for 1 year, a full-time tour status for 1 year in 93.
I know.
And now, I mean, to be able to go out at 50, if you were an elite golfer, to be able to qualify at 57 is incredible. When you weren't even. When you were just a journeyman who's never really done anything on the PGA Tour, to qualify at 57 years old, it's incredible.
One guy who did not qualify, former NFL running back Danny Woodhead.
No, he did not. He struggled, which is not a real surprise. I mean, again, this is it's a difficult thing, and for somebody who's not a professional golfer at all, that is that's asking an awful lot. But but yeah, I mean, again, to get to that level of qualifying, to be able to get to the final qualifying level is an unbelievable achievement for somebody like Danny Woodhead. I mean, that's like 99.9% of people who play golf will never be able to achieve that status, just getting to that level of qualifying, and he was able to do that. But yeah, it's again, Ricky Fowler missed, I think, by one shot, ended up missing out.
I hate being right about something that I think is going to be negative, but I've been right all along about Ricky Fowler. I just think Ricky Fowler, who has all the tools, just never lived up to expectations because he got inundated with all those sponsors and sponsor commitments and commercials, and I just think he lost his way as far as the game is concerned. I mean, I may be proven to be wrong in the end, but I think I'm pretty much right on with Ricky Fowler. I said he'd never win another tournament, let alone a major. I remember having this discussion years ago with Steve Sands on the show, and I don't wish him ill will. I wish him well. And now, like you said, he could be on his way to the LIV. That's a possibility.
Yeah, he's again, there's a lot of rumors. I think somebody on the Golf Channel may even said that it was a definite that he would be
a definite
in the field. But again, it's funny because if he is going, they announced the 12 captains, and he's not one of the 12 captains. So if you would think if you have Ricky Fowler, he would at least be one of the captains, but he's not going to be one of the captains for the team portion of the event. But he could still be added to the field here in the next couple of days. He originally had said that he had talked to them. He had ongoing conversation with us. He wasn't one of the guys who came out and basically said, like, no, I'm not doing that. Like, he said that he had conversations with them and everything else.
Do you know what the payout is for the individual winner and then the team, and what the team will?
Last place in the individual gets $120,000. The winner, let me see here. Where is? I think it's a $20 million purse for the individual side.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Where is this?
Then the four-member team, they'll get paid. They'll split whatever it is.
$25 million purse, $20 million for individual prizes, $5 million for the top three teams.
Top three teams. Wow, $5 million. Of course, that would be divided by 4.
And then the top 3 individuals after the 7 regular season events, among those who play a minimum of 4 events, will share an additional $30 million. That's $18 million for first, $8 million for second, $4 million for third. And then there's a $50 million purse for the team match play championship that will happen at the end of the year.
It's just damn funny money. I'm telling you, this is crazy.
Winner gets $4 million. Last place finisher will get $120,000.
7 events, you said, right?
7 regular season events, and then the match play championship.
So are they looking to increase the amount of events in the future? If television and all that stuff is not a factor, they're already got so much, they got more money than sin, then why wouldn't they just have more events too?
I'm sure they are going. I would imagine they are going to try and add events. But then you have to have places to hold the events. And you have to, and you're also, I think, the players that you're asking that part of what I think they like is it's not that big of an obligation. There's very few events to play. There's only 54 holes per event. Like it's not, they're not asking a lot of my time. I wonder, I could have my free time in my life and just still make this bunch of money playing golf in these very few events.
Yeah. Or they could pick up some more events over on the European Tour. The European Tour, even though, again, associated somewhat with the PGA, I wonder if they're not going to be allowed to do that, if it's just a restriction to the PGA Tour. And by the way, with the Saudis, they may just start building a bunch of golf courses, have the events at their own golf courses.
Well, see, that's the thing. Like, there's only one event that's in their country.
Right, but there might be more in the future. That's what I'm saying. If this thing lasts, then they can go out there and just start building more golf courses. It is reported that Mike Breen will be back in the broadcasting booth for game number 3 of the NBA Finals tomorrow night in Boston.
That's good. It's great to have him back. It was weird that it took him so long to get back.
He might have had complications, older guy.
Van Gundy came right back after going in after him, but Breen took a while to come out of there. But, yes, great to have Mike Breen back, as he is awesome.
Yeah, look, I like Mark Jones. He's very good at what he does. But Mike Breen, man, he's sensational. Our thanks to Connor O'Gara and Parker Fleming for joining us on the program today. We're back tomorrow starting at 7 a.m. DeMichael Cole will be among our guests from the Commercial Appeal, talking Grizzlies, plus 5 favorite things, your 5 favorite Tom Cruise movies. Waldo and Friends on Sports 56 is coming up next. For Eli Savoy and Zach Boyd, I'm Greg Gaston. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, everyone.